This episode of the BJJ Foxcast is brought to you by BioPro. BioPro is an all-natural alternative to prescription human growth hormone, which aids in recovery, anti-aging, metabolism, libido, immunity, skin health, cognition, sleep, and stress. Just one vial per day provides a substantial boost to all of these growth factors. Okay, so that's what they want me to say. Here's what I know as an aging grappler. I've been using BioPro Plus and the nighttime variant, BioPro Plus Cortisleep, for several months, and it feels like I've grown a third lung. My gas tank is noticeably bigger, my recovery is faster, and I'm back on the mats much quicker, not just between training sessions, but between rounds. Now you can get $30 off your first order of BioPro when you use the code FOXCAST at www.bioproteintech.com. That's code FOXCAST for $30 off your first order at www.bioproteintech.com. Thank you, BioPro. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the BJJ Foxcast. I am your host, Alex Martinez, and I'm here with my co-host, Tojo.
Yo.
And today, I don't even know your last name, Bill. Walker.
What?
Bill Walker on the show.
Yes,
It
sir.
sounds like a made-up stage name, right?
Yeah.
Just Bill Walker.
Yeah. You know, how many, what's it called? Westerns do you film?
It's actually very popular in the Alcoholics Anonymous group.
Is it?
Yes, because the guy that created AA is named Bill W. Bill Walker.
Okay.
So actually, there was a time where my wife was looking on the, Facebook has groups.
Yeah.
Like local.
She was looking for an AA meeting.
Yeah. Well, it pops up in Everett.
Yeah.
That's where we used to live. And someone was like, hey, has anybody seen like Bill W? Or who's friends with Bill W? And she brings it up to me and she goes, hey, what the hell is this? And I was like, oh my gosh. I had already known it.
Yeah.
It's what that is.
Yeah.
And she had no idea. So I had to do like some stumbling and explaining.
You're like, it's not me. I swear, like, for real.
These are drug addicts. We're all safe.
Well, Bill is a black belt, and who would you say are you? I always say like under blah blah blah, but who did you get your black belt from?
A beautiful ginger named Andrew Solheim.
Okay.
He's a 4th degree up in Seattle or Everett, Washington.
Okay.
It's kind of like here where you guys are.
We're in Phoenix, but we're Mesa. Yeah.
But you're Mesa.
Yeah.
So same thing. Seattle, but Everett is if you just on a Sunday morning, you're probably 20 minutes north of Seattle.
Okay.
Normal traffic, you're about an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Wow.
So
shit.
yeah.
So you don't go to Seattle much?
I didn't much, only for work and like. I honestly, like, once you go to a couple Seahawks games or whatever and you just deal with the downtown stuff, you just rather watch it on TV.
Yeah,
like,
but it's set up pretty cool, though. The way they set up the stadium, like, it funnels right, the downtown funnels right to the stadium.
The stadiums are phenomenal. And then the vibe, it's kind of known for it. But it's, so we're in Everett, Washington. We were a GB. That's what he came up as.
Yep.
And then branched off from that. And then we were a part of a association, like a 3 or 4 gym association that just ran its course. And he kind of made his own called Cascade Jiu-Jitsu.
Oh, yeah.
And I came on board about 2017.
Okay.
Is when we were part of that three gym association. And that's when I started training like heavily.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You're also a photographer?
I am a photographer and videographer.
No shit.
Yeah. Taught myself, YouTube Academy.
Nice.
And I got a small company that I employ other photographers and stuff like that. And in the automotive niche, usually.
Yeah.
But we have some other stuff. And
Is that your primary?
Yeah. Yeah. That's how
awesome.
I pay the bills.
Yeah, cool.
So I'm a creative, dude. Let's take our pants off.
I'm the talent.
Take your pants off.
So our friend Daniel Kim is also a photographer. He does
Weddings
mainly.
Was he the guy there today?
Yes, the Asian guy.
Okay.
Yeah, Korean.
Oh,
He is super talented. Super talented guy. Still does film.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of his niche.
That's a bold move.
Bro, he gets flown all over the world.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, that's in the photographer world and stuff. I feel fortunate. I haven't had to do weddings.
Yeah.
I found this niche in automotive and I was able to run with it.
Yeah.
I started shooting in about 2005 was when I started like actually getting paid to do photography.
Sure.
But it was like, okay, are you Italian by chance?
I'm not. I'm Mexican.
Okay.
100%.
Martinez.
I haven't done 23andMe because I'm kind of sure my parents are related.
Oh,
Same town. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm kidding.
I'm not saying, but I could tell in your face.
No, so my whole family's from a small area in Mexico.
Okay.
Like everybody. I mean, it's
like a chilango.
Yeah, we're pretty close. Yeah,
Look at this
Chilangos.
guy. Look at this guy.
Yeah. So it's like northern part of Mexico, but like everybody's from the same area. And I'm like, gosh, what if they're related?
Yeah. I mean, same.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
But I guarantee I'm a full Mexican.
I famously did my 23andMe, and I thought we did a podcast about this, and I thought I remember for sure that thing said I was 1% black.
Oh, no kidding. 1%.
I was throwing that out there.
Okay.
Anybody and everybody. I wasn't going full Mike Perry.
Right.
But I was abusing it a little bit.
Okay.
And then my wife heard that podcast, which I brought that up on.
Yeah.
And she corrected me firmly. You remember wrong, you big idiot. Oh, well.
You are 0.1.
Yes. Yeah, like the origin of like mankind or something.
Well, if you look at Central America, North America, Central-ish America, there was a lot of Spanish, Portuguese, all that. They were, I don't want to say stealing, but they were working mines, and they were, and with that they brought a lot of slaves, a lot of enslaved workers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very common for people from Mexico to have, African American, in them.
Right.
Yeah, because of all that, because
I didn't know we were having a history lesson today.
Well, it's not. It's not. It's
like
kind of
a
pseudo bro history.
bald white guy with blue eyes talking about slaves. Let's go.
Perfect.
Yeah, man.
Are you German?
There's something in there. I'm like a Heinz 57.
We're going off the rails
Already?
This is our last podcast. 107 was our last podcast. Holy shit.
To be honest, a lot of people from my hometown would not be surprised if it was.
Yeah.
We've all like, I think we've trained together for, I think I've been down here for maybe 3-4 weeks now.
Yeah.
But we haven't actually sat down and talked. So this is kind of like an intro to to me.
Yeah.
I'm not like a normal Seattleite as
Right.
what is typically out there in the news.
You're not wearing a beanie?
I'm not wearing a beanie.
Interesting.
You don't look homeless.
No,
Yeah.
you don't look homeless. Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't have a beard. You don't have a beard. You know what drives me crazy? Like they dress like some folks dress like lumberjacks. They never swung an axe in their fucking
Those
life.
Carhartts are clean.
They're clean as that.
They would tear the skin right off their hand if they did.
And that's the thing. So you have Seattle,
Made in
and
China.
then it starts to go a little bit north, and then you get to the Everett area, and then after Everett, you get to more like rural and like farmland and stuff like that. And that's when those people hate the clean Carhartt people.
I'm sure,
'Cause
man.
They actually wear the stuff,
Yeah.
so
I'm more familiar with like the Oregon area. It's like Portland. Everyone has that. Like everyone thinks Oregon is Portland.
Yeah.
But you go anywhere other than Portland, it's like pretty fucking redneck.
Yeah.
Very blue collar.
Oh yeah.
Well,
for sure.
it's like New York. New York City is a very small piece of New York State. New York State's actually pretty big.
Not population wise.
Not population wise, but it's very
piece.
it's very rural and very redneck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the sticks basically.
Heck
It's
yeah.
wild.
Let's talk about your Down syndrome again.
Let's
That was fun.
I haven't checked.
If you have Downs,
No, if I might. I don't know. Oh shit, man.
we all got a little tism in us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But let's hang on. I was going to ask you another question.
There was my jiu-jitsu history.
No, that's boring.
Who cares?
Who gives a shit about it? Actually, no. Let's talk about that a little bit because I got my black belt in just under 7 years. I think you got yours
5.5.
5.5.
Yeah.
That's really fast, dude.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty fast too, though.
Yeah.
The 7.
Just under 7 years.
Yeah. My shameless plug. I have a podcast too, and my podcast partner, he's 50.
What's your podcast?
It's called Grappling With Podcast, and it's that's like a play on the topic. So grappling with whatever the topic is.
Yeah.
But the guy I do it with, he's a black belt as well. His name's Chris. He's a doctor as well, but I think he's 54, 55. I can't remember, but he got his in I think in about 8 years.
Okay.
And that's still
That's really fast,
for people that start it. I started at 30. I was like 34 and a half, 35 right in there. Like to progress that quickly you have to be consistent.
Yeah.
That was like a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm coming up on 2 years as a black belt here. So
Nice. Yeah. It'll be 6 for me next year.
As a black belt?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Almost that number 2.
Yeah, almost that second
See,
strike.
I hear that and I'm like, why am I even on the mats? Like, especially in like, I'm a master 3 for competition purposes. And I see 4th degrees and stuff like that. And I'm like, I was doing drugs and alcohol when you were like getting your
When
black
he's a little
belt.
kid.
Yeah.
I fought the founder of BJJ Revolution last year.
No big deal.
Yeah, it's like I'm shaking his hand. I was like, "Do you have any idea who you are?"
Yeah.
Like the guys coaching him are guys that I'm like in awe of. You know, coaching him. The black belts that are under him.
Yeah.
You know, that were in the coaches area. Like I'm in awe of those guys.
Right.
Let alone this dude that I'm about to share the mats with. I took it to him though.
You almost won.
I took it to him. He's very smart. Like he's been there a million times.
Played the game.
Played the game perfectly.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I lost and I was pissed, but not at him. I was pissed at I guess the moment kind of.
The jiu-jitsu IQ of some of those guys is just
insane,
fantastic, and that's like I was talking with Ramsey today about how sometimes we'll side on just moving and creating a transition we don't necessarily need to, but it's because we're maybe like not necessarily getting bored, but you're like, this match sucks. Yeah. So let me just start moving.
Yeah.
Well, I've talked to Ramsey about that before because we train a lot together, Ramsey and I. And it's like in class, like, I mean, other than like Ramsey, for the most part, a lot of the people I roll with, I'm like, I can get, sweep, straight to mount, and I can just hold him there for 4 minutes if I want to. But who fucking wants that?
Yeah.
That just gets boring.
Yeah.
And no one's getting better doing that.
I want that.
Yeah. I want that in a tournament.
Yeah.
If I can get to mount in a minute, I'm holding him there for 4 minutes.
Yeah. The first guy I fought
100%.
last year, judo black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt. So good news for me. But he threw me. But when we landed, he did get the 2. But I was able.
Are you a middleweight?
I am.
Brian Martinez?
No.
He wasn't a 6 blades guy? Or
No.
Okay.
He was straight out of Brazil.
Okay.
I mean,
okay. Random guess there.
he was very.
There are only 2 judo black belts in your division.
Right.
Brian and then
Yeah, for sure.
Well, shit. But yeah, he threw me, but I managed to get my hips up, so I mount. It was like a back mount, so I flattened him out, and I held him there for pretty much the entire match.
That is the problem with a lot of that judo stuff. Like the guys who are like Olympic judo, a lot of times they give up bad positions for the throw, because it's just
You're supposed to land on them.
Right.
Yeah. And he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that hurt.
I've been doing competition judo from a world team member.
Okay.
Before I moved.
Yeah.
And that's the big thing is, he comes from a Jason Morris lineage, which is one of the only, I think, 5 American medalists in judo.
Wow.
And in the 80s, Jason Morris got silver. And he comes from like that Jimmy Pedro kind of era. He's a little bit older than that, but like he comes from that era. And so I've been learning competition level judo, not the Kodokan kind of like stuff.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but
No, why do you hate that?
well, I'm racist. So the
107. That was a great podcast.
that was good.
That was our last one.
Cascade Jiu-Jitsu.
Well, shit.
Everett, Washington. They create monsters. But that was the big thing is I told my coach that I want to be good at judo for judo, but I really want to be good at judo for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And so it was nice because Nick Irabali, he in Kirkland, Washington Judo Academy, he started tailoring stuff. He would always say this, like for the judo, like he would say, for example, like Uchimata, that's his bread and butter, is he's showing how you lift, throw, rotate, and then you're basically connecting them to you and then doing a forward roll.
Okay.
So that's your thing is you fit, boom. Right? As you're rotating, you're lifting the leg, you're getting up on your toes, you're looking through your armpit, and then you do a forward roll. So literally you just connect them and then forward roll. That's like and
they break your fall.
And then as you do that forward roll, you're landing on them with all your weight.
Nice.
He's 6'6", 330, so that might kill you.
Yeah.
But
definitely crush a rib.
Yes. And so I was like, okay, but that can obviously put me in a pretty bad spot if we're in a jiu-jitsu scenario.
Yeah.
Like you can do that and land in like almost like a long step.
Yep.
But you're still kind of playing with fire. So he started adjusting like some of those details where we're still doing all the entries the same, but on the kick and the rotation we're doing a little bit different. And even to the point where we almost abandoned Uchimata a little bit like use it for defensive purposes.
Yeah.
For like a single leg or something, like if you got caught or something.
Yeah.
If you got caught with a single or something.
There you go. You broke my studio.
purse? Is that
Way
your
to go.
My bad.
Way to go.
I just soiled myself.
Broke the fucking studio.
And then, so then we started switching to Harai Goshi, which instead of that leg kicking up into the middle, in between the rickets, you're going to the far side and flicking over. So
That's kind of what Keith was showing in Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Harai Goshi. Yeah. You know, Craig Jones has that famous one against Dante Leon.
Yeah.
You know, but the bugaboo with that is if you go full commitment Harai, you don't have a fallback.
Right.
Rather than, let's say, a Tayatoshi, where you drop down and kick the leg out, block their ankle, flick them. If that fails, you can just come right back to like a Kataguruma, like a fireman's or so, whatever.
Or pull guard.
Or pull guard. Or a Uchimata.
No, I'm serious. Like, right, you can bail. Yeah.
You have an out.
Yeah.
Uchimata, kind of similar. You get the guy sinks his hips. You can't lift him. You just come right back out.
Yeah.
Harai, it's full turn.
Yep.
Commitment.
Yep.
If you fail, your face is going to go into the mat, and hopefully you can pull, rotate into guard. So,
maybe.
But it's just one of those things where it was nice finding an instructor that was he throws shade at jiu-jitsu guys because we all stand with our shoulders curled in.
Yeah.
And judo's very much.
Hey, because we've been hurt before.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've been hurt before.
Yes.
And you kind of curl up.
My beehole's been touched.
At least 4 times.
It didn't feel good.
Today.
Yes. Actually, interesting story. So I apologize.
No, fire away.
I'm a squirrel brain. So I've always had low testosterone.
Okay.
Like since my early 20s. Just something in the wiring doesn't work.
Right.
The boys, I don't know. And so I was going to a urologist or endocrinologist and all that, trying to get my tests and all that kind of stuff. I think I was 26, maybe.
Young.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And that was by the time I actually went to the doctor.
Yeah.
I was having all the symptoms before that. I just thought I was a fat piece of shit.
What?
I
Okay.
swear.
Okay. Yes. Oh my gosh.
I try not
yes,
to swear
please.
too much, but
I want you to be yourself.
Okay.
Yeah, not your racist self, but the other self.
Shirt's coming off. Pants are already there.
Yeah, love it.
So,
yeah, he's got them 4-inch shorts rocking.
Yeah,
Doesn't
like
show
Brendan.
off his legs.
Yeah.
Him and Tierney.
Cochino.
Oh, we were comparing.
He's like, oh, yours are real high.
Yeah. He put mine on. I took.
Makes sense.
Amazing.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So I go to the doctor and he's takes my blood and all that, and then the normal questions like, okay, well you're pretty young, and my level was almost didn't read anything. It was that low, like it was like 110 or something like that. So he's like, well, we want to figure out why, and he just looks at me and goes, all right, drop him, and I'm like, I just squinty eyed look at him. What the hell does that mean? And he starts putting on a glove.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm in disbelief. He's like, just turn around and drop him. And I just blanked out. It was like Saving Private Ryan in the beginning.
Yes.
Where all sound is gone.
Yeah.
I'm seeing like my friends dying around me. And then I don't even know what I'm doing. And I just start unbuttoning my pants. And I bend over this damn the bed thing.
We're about to get graphic, boys.
Yeah, sorry. Turn around, my friend. Not turn to the left and cough.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's where I thought you were going.
Yes. And I'm like I said, Saving Private Ryan. I'm already scarred. I'm in jail, basically.
Right, yeah.
And Bubba has a rubber glove on.
Yes.
So then he checks my prostate, which you're not supposed to get till 50, I think.
Yeah.
40s, 50s.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 25 getting my beehole touched.
Yeah.
And the most dehumanizing thing I think that's ever happened to me was as soon as he checks, and then obviously like I'm facing the gurney bed thing, and he just slams down a box of tissues and goes, all right, clean up, just right next to me as I'm like bent over with my ass hanging out.
Oh my gosh.
And I almost started crying. I was just like, I don't know if I'm going to tell anybody this ever.
And now you're saying it on a podcast.
Here we are.
Yeah. And now it's a good party trick. So I was like, this was so horrible. And it was so bad. So, another level is, so he just goes, clean up, walks out, which I'm thinking he just opened the door to the hallway. If some old lady walks by and sees my bare ass, what is she thinking? So I take a tissue and I'm like, First of all, I'm like, what am I cleaning up?
Right.
What just happened?
Yeah.
And then, so I start cleaning up, and on the first swipe, if you will, it's a little messy.
Yes.
And I was like, did I just shit myself?
Oh no.
I just literally shit myself on this guy, which is super embarrassing.
Yeah.
It's already embarrassing that he had his finger in my butt.
Yeah.
But doubly that I couldn't hold my Chipotle. And
you know what? If a guy puts a finger in your butt, he deserves to get shit on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That's what my mom said. And so I do a little clean, and I had to look, make sure I'm not bleeding.
Of course, yeah.
You know, just got green mild. So
yeah.
Michael Duncan Clark, R.I.P. And
Jesus Christ.
so he, I look, and it was just the jelly.
Yeah.
It was
probably
just
used a lot.
Penetrate.
Yeah.
I got a type B.
Yeah.
Probably had to get a good spritzer in there.
And it's not his first rodeo.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. This guy was a veteran. I could tell.
Yeah.
He was gentle with the rubber glove.
That's cool.
So with that, I've been doing jiu-jitsu since 2017.
No kidding.
So wait, no prostate cancer.
No prostate cancer. It wasn't even swollen, I don't think.
Okay.
We actually just, we don't know why I have.
It's a genetic thing?
Yeah. Well, you know, back then we were barely walking upright. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a lot more testing, blood testing they can do to check it, and they don't always have to, you know, it's probably
he didn't have to do that.
That's what, no. So Chris, my podcast partner that's a physician.
Yeah.
He's a DO, a doctor, osteopath, whatever. He's going to kill me that I mess all that up. Went to John Hopkins, all that kind of stuff. His wife is a natural.
You know, Chris has worked his ass off.
Oh.
You know what I mean? And here you are shitting on him.
I guarantee he cheated on so many tests, though. That dude.
Don't go to him.
You know how we were talking about you got a droopy eye from the incest thing?
Yeah.
He's got you beat. His face is like a catcher's mitt. I mean, leathery.
Oh, my God.
And he's from Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, come on.
One of his favorite places.
Oh no, it is not.
What happened there?
Oh no, I just like so I went. So
he got raped by a doctor.
Urology exam.
So I walk in, he says, "Turn around and drop your pants."
Where do you want me to put my pants, Doc? Over there by mine.
Yeah, that Pilot gas station was tough.
No, honestly, so we went to West Monroe, which is in Northeast Louisiana. That was great because it was like it was humid, but it was like cooler. We went to the Kelsey and I did the New Orleans Open, the Summer Open. You ever been to New Orleans in the summer?
No.
It is
not
fucking gross
the
town.
gates of hell.
Isn't that where the duck guys are from? West Monroe?
Duck Guineas?
there.
I don't know.
I think they're from there. Yeah.
Shout out to Phil.
Yeah.
Isn't the South all the same?
Kinda. It's some parts are less swampy, but yeah, pretty much. Georgia's awesome, but yeah.
It was the most humid place I have ever been. And I'm from Minnesota. Like, I thought I knew what humidity was. It was
You don't know shit. You're in a swamp, homie.
It was gross.
Yeah.
And like we went to did the whole Bourbon Street thing, and I'm like, this whole town smells like piss.
And that was the first time you got gonorrhea.
Yeah, it was a disgusting place. I'm like, I'm never coming back here again.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Whoever says you can't get gonorrhea from a doorknob has not been to New Orleans.
What are you doing with the doorknob?
I'm just saying, you turn a knob, you got gonorrhea now. Yeah.
How did you open that? Was it like how I had to do my test?
Might have been.
Oddly, I have a training partner, a Hawaiian guy named Boots. That's how he opens doors.
With his butt?
He can.
What?
Which completely baffled me. We were making a joke, and he's like, no, I can do it. I was like, is this a Hawaiian thing? And he's like, no, he's from Lahaina.
Okay.
Send a shout out.
Yep.
And he literally opened the gym door with his butt cheeks. Absolutely impressive.
Wait, did he like raise his butt cheek and push the lever down, or did he grab and twist?
So it's not a twist style like a normal.
Yeah.
It was like just a pole that you grab.
Oh,
so it was a solid squeeze,
like a kegel,
and
right?
walk forward.
Yeah,
it's the glute strength.
That's impressive, dude.
Yeah,
that's Hawaiian butt though. Yeah, that's awesome.
Hawaiian butt.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
They all got thick thighs.
Good for him.
That's for sure.
Good for him.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a really useful talent.
Yeah. So
his wife says.
What did you find out about your testosterone?
Oh, so yeah, it was about 100 or 120 or something. It was super, super low. And then they put me on all the gels and jellies and topical stuff, which as I've become more educated through our podcast, because like I said, Chris's wife is a naturo and she has her own clinic, but she's integrated medicine. So what that means is they mix Eastern and Western.
Yeah, I go to a natural.
Okay, yeah. And they're not, an integrated medicine is not afraid to use modern medicine, because the bugaboo with naturos is just like anything. There can be really good, and then there can be really bad.
Yeah.
And just like a normal doctor, honestly.
Yeah.
And they can get a little woo-wooey.
Yeah.
You know, put essential oils on my eyebrows.
Right.
Out of nowhere, my testosterone's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite work that way.
Yeah.
But so once I've started, because we'll have her on the pod and we'll talk TRT. So I'm a very open book about my TRT usage, and so's Chris, and you know, we talk about all that kind of stuff, and I'm not shy about it. And so the topicals are all kind of, I don't want to say bullshit, but one, if you don't have insurance, it's going to cost you crazy money. Like, because I had to
They ought to be compounded.
Well, topical stuff like androgel and stuff like that is straight from like the big pharma, basically.
Oh, I see.
So Axiom and stuff like that. So these are going to be, without insurance, $1,200.
Wow.
Let's say,
Whoa.
like, in how much I had to do, because I had to do the full maximum amount, was about $1,200 every 2 weeks. And then, and then some of the others are a little bit cheaper, but those are the brands that you see on TV that the doctors want to give you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you have insurance, it's only going to cost you maybe a couple $100 a month.
Okay.
Right. Now, I start learning about the injection stuff, like, you know, just injecting testosterone, which is, one, it's better, it's cleaner, especially if you get from a compound pharmacy. A good, like, Vertesis and Phoenix is a good compound pharmacy, although they've changed management and they kind of suck on delivering now. But
that sucks.
But anyways, you're gonna have, and my terminology is shit, I apologize, Carrie and Chris, but like your absorption of it is gonna be better through injection. So rather than the topical, or even like the tincture, or if you don't want to do it's kind of like a birth control where they can do like little pellets.
Yep.
And it releases.
Just like dissolves. Like
Over like a 3-month period.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted to have more control. And once I started learning about the injection stuff, it changed completely. So topicals didn't work super good, and I started getting like rashes. I have psoriasis, so like my skin I'm a little sensitive.
Yeah. You're like a bulldog. You got a lot of shit going on.
Yes. A bulldog mixed with,
gosh, who knows, man?
a golden.
A golden? You
I'm
think?
gonna say a golden.
I was thinking you were going to get German Shepherd.
Yeah, no.
I'll take it.
No, not German Shepherd.
Yeah.
Golden.
Another broken breed.
I'll give you a golden doodle. I'll give you a golden doodle.
Yeah. Okay.
Golden
I'll take
doodle.
that.
Yeah.
And so
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm just living my life. So they the topical thing, I started getting rashes and all that kind of stuff, because you have to either do it on the inside the thigh, on the chest, armpits, like all these kind of like sensitive areas that absorb well. Anyways, got past that, started seeing Carrie as a general practitioner, or my general health, and because she specializes in the hormone therapy stuff. She like speaks at conferences, stays up to date on gut health, all that kind of stuff, and changed me completely, because I used to be 230 pounds also.
Wow.
Not in a good way.
Yeah. I don't carry it well either.
Yeah. And my old gym calls it Fat Bill, because there's photos when I was a blue belt and I didn't have a chin.
230 pounds?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Did
You're
you
like
have-
190, 180?
Now?
Yeah.
I'm like 70, 75.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was around 78 up north, but since I've been in the heat, it's like I'm down like 5 pounds on average.
Yeah.
That's why you got the water?
Yeah.
Did you get the boobs, the man boobs?
No, and I actually inject a decent amount.
Okay.
And I haven't had to do any sort of like gyno remedies or estrogen blocking or a Clomid or anything like that. I've been on and off since my mid-20s.
Yeah.
There's because if you want to have kids, it's really difficult if you're on synthetic TRT or something like that. So, and there's some natural remedies that I've done and actually boosted my natural. I got my natural up into the mid-3s to 400.
Okay.
Just with Carrie, working on diet, sleep, and then Tongkat Ali is a natural.
I take that.
Okay, and then pine pollen nettle root extract, that's another one. So just doing this kind of combination. I think Clomid. I can't remember. Is another one, and with that, and then healthy living.
Yeah.
I quit drinking.
Completely.
Yeah, I don't drink at all.
You want some booze now?
You know, probably shouldn't.
Okay.
I'm one of those guys that
Throwing it
the
out
reason I quit is don't stop.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay. Yeah.
like, for example, I was drinking about a 6-pack on the way to class.
Oh, wow.
I would be in traffic because Seattle's traffic.
Yeah.
And it's like stop and go.
Yeah.
And I'm a boredom drinker. I'm not a go out and drink guy.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'm like a drink at home
Yeah.
or drink in the car. And I understand people. I get it. That was very shitty of me to do, but drink and drive. But all my windows are tinted, and I would just go to training and drink as many as I could. And then my wife found out that I was because she knew I would drink, but she didn't know how much.
Yeah.
And like on my own and stuff like that. And so when she found out, she called me out, and then I was like, my dad was an alcoholic. He left when I was 11, and but I knew he was an alcoholic back then. And so I knew I don't know if it's genetic or something. I know I have that in me.
Is. Yeah.
And I have an addictive personality.
Yeah.
Why I kind of got through the jiu-jitsu quickly.
Yeah.
And so I told myself, or I told her as well, and myself, okay, you're right. I shouldn't be like hiding this from you. It's like I'm cheating on my wife with a bottle of booze.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would just be by myself at a park.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I did was I told her, I was like, here, 3 months, not gonna I want to show you that I'm good. Like I'm mentally strong. About a month in, I started concealing again, and I stopped. I didn't tell her, and I would have just a little bit. I just want to relax, man. I run a company.
Sure.
It's stressful. Whatever excuse I'm actually making.
100%.
The Germans drink a beer at lunch. Why can't I?
Right.
Son of a bitch.
They seem to be doing all right.
They do all right.
Yeah.
They make great cars.
Come on.
Not electrical systems, but
right. Kind of expensive. So so a month in, I'm drinking, but I'm also justifying it. Like, I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And she caught me again. What happened was she just went through the trunk of the car. I have a car that has like compartments in the trunk, and there was like empty vodka bottle or something like that. And I was taking a shower after jiu-jitsu, and she just lined up every empty bottle that was in the trunk outside the bathroom door. So when I opened the door, that's all I saw.
You're like, I'm fucked.
And I go, well, I might have an issue.
Yeah.
And it hit me that fast that, you dumb motherfucker. You told her, which is more important than even telling myself. You told her and you told yourself you were going to stop, and you couldn't.
Yeah.
You couldn't even follow through with the 90 days.
Yeah.
90 days.
Yeah.
You couldn't just abstain from something. And I don't care what it is, whether it's jiu-jitsu, food, some sort of food, or games. You know, I was a heavy video. That's how my wife and I met, was it through video games. 20 years ago at a LAN tournament. And so
nerd.
Big nerd alert.
I didn't want to say it. I want to be
big nerd alert.
Yeah, I mean, that's nerd.
He's saying you're a little
100% nerd.
Yeah. I was we were in leagues.
That's
like,
true. That's true.
All that kind of stuff. Before it was actually paid money. But so it was like a realization. Like, no, you got a freaking problem.
Yeah.
And I stopped right then.
Wow.
It was July 10th, the day after my mom's birthday. And yeah.
Did you get help, or did you just?
No.
Was that just like the wake up call you needed?
I think it was. I think I do have a pretty strong mind when I need to, and I was like, done. And then, sure, I would have urges or some desires here and there, but not as bad as like I think a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then also, I would. I started to hate it. I was angry at it. Not. Like, I don't care if other people drink.
Right.
Like, that doesn't even bother me at all.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't see any redeeming value. I understand the social lubricant.
Sure.
But even that, I'm like, I don't, like, for me, I'm a little bit like, I've never met a stranger, so I don't need a social lubricant.
Yeah.
You know? I'll talk about my beehole on a podcast of guys I just met.
Right. Yeah.
And so gas stations are fun.
Yeah, they can be.
Yeah. So
they can be.
I there's no redeeming value.
Yeah.
And I just started like resenting alcohol a little bit for myself.
Yeah.
And now I don't even think about it.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a documentary about a wrestler that, you know, got hooked on pills and, you know, living the life, right? A lot of alcohol, stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know how he's doing now, but they got him clean. And it was like a battle. It was a battle. And the way he described it was so good. I mean, it was like perfectly described when he said, he goes, when I drink, 1 is too many, but then 1,000 aren't enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're like, holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Yeah.
You always chase the buzz, but then you go past the buzz. And
you're like, why not just keep going?
Yeah. And then you're a blubbering idiot.
Yeah.
But you're always chasing that in between time. And that is impossible.
Yeah.
Especially as your tolerance goes up and stuff like that.
Wow. That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did jiu-jitsu help?
I mean, the thing is with like, especially if you're not going to do like a traditional AA route or something like this, some sort of help. And even if you do that process, you need to replace.
Yeah.
And this goes for anything.
Yeah.
Bad habits with eating and you're going down a fitness journey or a weight loss journey, it doesn't matter. You have to replace something with something positive.
Yeah.
So if I didn't replace that time, which was, remember, I'm a downtime drinker.
Yeah.
I'm a boredom drinker.
Yeah.
So the times that I would be drinking, instead I was doing jiu-jitsu. So in the middle, I was doing 2 a days, which is part of the reason I progressed quickly.
Yeah.
Was it through the ranks was I probably 4 or 5 days a week, I would do 2 sessions a day. And then I would train once or on the other couple days.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a ton of downtime at this point. Yeah. So I had to replace this addiction with this addiction.
Yeah. Well, plus, like, if you're going to train the next morning or whatever, you can't be drunk.
Well, and this was a big thing.
You know?
Yeah. So that was a big motivating factor to get my nutrition better.
Yeah.
Because I was losing weight while I was drinking. I got into the like 190s while I was drinking, just doing jiu-jitsu a lot. I was out training my diet.
Yeah.
And then I got to the point where I was trying to be crafty. You know what nutrient timing is?
Nah, what's that?
So it's where if you're going to eat some garbage or you're going to eat something sugary or your carbs or something, this is good for like a weight loss journey, people, is do it after you train. Not just
right
jiu-jitsu.
After when your body's starved for it.
Yes. But the key, and this is the thing that people miss a lot, is you've probably heard the nerdy term glycogen in your muscle. So you have to empty out that glycogen, right? So in jiu-jitsu, we do that fairly regularly if we train hard.
Yeah.
And one way to, like a little way to tell is after let's say you do 5 rounds and your hands are just kind of shaking, your nervous system's taxed, there's a good chance you've probably emptied out the glycogen in the muscle. And if you emptied out the glycogen when you eat that junky food or carb or starchy carb or a sugar or something, the muscle's just going to burn it up right away.
Yeah.
Right? Because glycogen is fuel for the muscle, and it's just going to heat it up. Rather than if you didn't empty the glycogen, you take in that food, it just sits on top of the muscle, then turns to fat and stuff like that. Maybe some of it gets burned, right? But it turns to fat. Right. So what I started doing was if I was going to eat McDonald's or if I was going to drink, I was doing it after a day training session.
Gotcha.
So I was able to burn. Now I would get my ass kicked at the night session because I felt like garbage because I either drank or I ate poop.
Garbage,
right?
Yeah.
And then my training partners that I started with, I'm not talking about the black belts when I'm a blue belt. I'm talking about like the guys, my buddy Glenn or something that started with me, that he would beat the shit out of me. And I'd be like, then I would get depressed about it and be like, well, I need to eat better because I had no energy. So then I started eating better because I wanted to train better. Yeah. And the trickle down effect of that was huge. And then I would say I started getting in pretty good shape once the alcohol dropped, and then I stopped eating so much garbage and actually like eating better foods. And then I got pretty fit. And then I would say in the last few years, I actually had a lot of gut issues because I wasn't eating garbage in the sense of like fast food, but I would drink like one of these guys, and then I would have like Reese's, the fast breaks and stuff like that, and I would like eat that during the day and have a good quality dinner, but all that sugar and stuff like that, it messed up my gut biome, and now I get gastritis extremely easy, which is like severe. It's like a mini form of what Gordon has, and I'll be in the fetal position for like 7-8 hours
in
the bathroom where I can't move.
Wow.
And when I have a flare up.
Yeah.
And typically that comes from caffeine, sugar, empty stomach, and bad.
Wow.
So once I started getting that, I had to kick. I don't drink those. I used to drink Bangs. Which are kind of like, if you're gonna drink one, that's maybe the better one, I guess. But I kicked all that stuff, and now I eat fairly clean. I still I crushed a pint of ice cream the other day.
There you go.
But I mean, YOLO.
But so a couple things that you said, especially when it comes to we didn't talk about recovery, but testosterone. You talk about sleep.
Yeah.
I follow Matt Frazier. I pretty much
the
Instagram.
CrossFit guy.
Yeah, all the channels, because he has a lot of really good tips. He's still very active, like helping people, get ready for stuff.
Yeah.
And he said it. I really like the way he said it. He said that if sleep weren't natural, it would be a banned substance. That's how good it is for you.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, that's when all of our human growth hormones getting released. Sleep is, if you want to have a performance gain, address your sleep.
Yeah,
it's for people that are wondering about testosterone and stuff like that, because we answer a lot of listener questions on our podcast, and I would say 75% of them are testosterone questions.
Yeah.
Because we're open, and libido, so sex drive, which doesn't mean erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction means you can't get a boner or something like that, right? Even in the moment of passion. Sex drive is maybe you find your girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever, attractive. You have the thoughts of passion, but the thought of that energy kills you, where you're like, I love her or whatever, but I'm just tired, man.
It's a lot of work.
It's just a lot of work, So you have the desire, but it seems like lifting a planet to actually get going.
Yeah.
That's your libido.
Wow.
So let's say you have a low libido and then sleep. Your sleep absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
And then these are symptoms, common symptoms. And then you have, let's say you do a workout, not even a hard workout, just a workout, and you are absolutely floored or crushed for the rest of the day, even the next day.
Yeah.
Right. Or maybe you work out hard, and it's just, you cannot burn weight. You're not your body comp. I'm not talking. We can stay away from the scale. Your body comp doesn't change, and you're burning it. You're eating pretty well. Mm-hmm. These are very common signs that you probably have low testosterone.
Yeah,
and low is also a number that is not the same for you. Are you on TRT?
Yeah.
So, do you know what your numbers are when you feel good?
Yeah.
What are you at?
I'm right at 657. Something like that. Yeah.
So, me at 6 in the 6s, I don't feel good.
Okay.
I do not feel good. I feel good in the 9s.
Okay.
Chris feels good in the high 7, 8s.
Okay.
And I have another friend that actually doesn't start to have quality sleep till he's at 1,000. Right, which you're like, well, you're talking about Vitor Belfort, which he was 1,600 when he tested, but that's when you really got to start.
He was natural.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Victor Gracie, remember they called him that when he first started UFC? They introduced him as Victor Gracie. He had no neck.
Yeah. He had a neck, but it started here.
Yes.
That's where his neck started.
Yeah, at my hairline.
Yeah.
And that number is going to be dependent on the person.
Yeah.
And you have to figure that out. So I have a friend that he's in the 500s, and he feels great. He's natural.
Yeah.
And he asks, should I get, I'm 42, 43, should I get testosterone? I was like, talking with Chris, and he's like, I sleep fine. He trains literally 6 days a week. It's all fine.
Yeah.
So 500 for him is good.
Yeah.
When it's time to go down that road, he's not going to have to blast up to what I'm at.
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be able to just get back to there.
Yeah.
So a lot of that stuff, that educational stuff on TRT is huge. And once again, it's testosterone replacement therapy.
Right. Yeah.
I throw shade at Master Worlds because it's the TRT Olympics.
Dude, I wish it was just that.
Yeah.
You could smell the steroids at the podium.
My numbers go up when I walk in the door. Like, holy smokes.
I know, I can't wait.
Bro, you're 58 and you got an 8-pack.
Yeah. Veins coming out your eyeballs.
Yeah.
I won't throw shade because I know there's some people you want to get on the podcast, so we won't talk about them. But
I'm not on steroids. You just punched the lady giving you your medal.
Yeah. So it's I can joke around about the TRT thing all day. I don't care. I'm past the point of being self-conscious about it, but it's replacement therapy. Now, of course, some people they'll say that they, I don't feel good till I'm at 1200, and it's probably like they just want more of a performance gain at that point.
Right.
I honestly don't feel good when my levels get too high.
Absolutely. So this is how I explain it. And tell me if this resonates. When I would get up into that 1,000, do you inject?
I do.
Once or twice a week?
I do 3 times a week. I do one cc a week. One cc a week. Yeah.
So I was doing the once every 2 weeks at first.
And full thing. Wow.
So I get really high, and then towards the end, I'm really low.
Yeah.
It's not recommended to do it that way. This was before I was with Carrie. And
Okay.
she was like, hey, you're an idiot. And so I would, in the beginning, I was so hot that it was like the first time I didn't start drinking coffee till I was in my 30s.
Okay.
But it was like when I first started drinking coffee, or you first have a new energy drink that's like the new one out there.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like jittery almost.
Yeah.
That was how I would feel when I get too high. And it's almost like your heart doesn't feel good.
Yep.
Like you're just like, I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here.
Well, for me, I notice weight gain. I notice swelling. I notice, because you just kind of
and stuff. Yeah.
So I noticed a lot of downside. There was no like boost in energy. There was no better performance.
How many times did you shit yourself?
At least twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So, he's like, really?
Once I timed him out as not being a TRT guy, I was like, he's like, I don't know.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about getting.
Maybe I'll hold off.
He's on his phone. Yeah. Am I going to shit myself?
Is that just because you're over 40?
Yeah. No, it's just like, I just can't trust a fart. I'm 51. It has nothing to do with TRT.
Loosens up a little bit.
Yeah. So, my doctor has bigger knuckles. That's something.
Jiu-Jitsu guy? Spider guard player?
You feel every...
Jeez, that's my lung, doc.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, but... yeah, it's when because I get my blood work done every 3 months, and when I got blood work, my doc was like, "I don't know what happened, but you're way too high." And I'm like, "I'm on the money. Same exact dose, same exact time, same exact day." And I just got it from the same compounding pharmacy, but it was a different brand.
Yeah,
and something changed
for sure.
So now I knocked that down. I got blood work coming up. See what happens. But I feel way better. I've lost. Let's see. I was struggling to get my weight down. I was 188 pounds, and I'm walking around 180. Like perfect. 180 is perfect for me.
Yeah, you can, depending on where you get it from, that can change.
Yeah.
Whether it's quality or whatever. But then also, like the problem with doing like a single test, which I mean it's all we can do. Right? Yeah. Is if you happen to have like better night's sleep that night or something like that, that can make that test fluctuate quite a bit. We just had a question on ours. A guy came in. He did 3 tests within like a 2-week period, and there was 300-point swings within it.
Wow.
Yeah, each one was very different.
That's time of day too, right? Isn't it the morning?
Well, you want to do fasted before 10.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be your peak. Testosterone is in the morning after you have your cortisol spike and all that. That's what wakes you up.
Right.
And so you want to have that consistency because, yes, eating something can absolutely like dip you and all that. But his was all consistent. And we were asking Chris, like, can you have a 300-point swing, same regiment and all that? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you work out the day before? Did you eat a shitty meal the day before? Did you eat a quality meal the day before? How was your sleep during that? Like there's a bunch of different factors that can.
So ideally, you would control for all that when you right before you're testing, like make sure it's kind of like at least the same regimen.
Let's say he does every 3 months and he knows like he has it scheduled out.
Yeah.
He should try to make his day or two before as consistent as possible.
Yeah.
And then time of blood draw as well, as consistent as possible.
We do usually my appointments are like 9:30ish in the morning, fasted.
Yeah.
And I've gotten the best results from that, because I used to go to a different place where they're like, oh, just come in whenever. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Like,
That's
I mean, that's one thing that I even know is like the morning is like the better time to test for it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And it's easy and consistent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, it all kind of works in it's this harmonious balance you can achieve if you can sleep well, if you can eat well, you know, all that stuff. And you know, just treat yourself well. You'll sleep better. You'll be less stressed. You know what I mean? And it just compounds on top of each other. Yeah. But it's really easy to fall into, like, you know, staring at your phone all day and getting stressed out about things, or business is not going as well as you should. So
looking at cops shoot people.
Yeah, dude. Dude, I can't get away from it. Not necessarily shooting people, like cops doing, like making mistakes. Not really making mistakes, but like, you know, getting bad.
It's okay. There's shithead cops.
Yeah,
out there. And there's shithead cops that don't train.
Yes.
You are. Yeah. I say this. I'll DM dudes on Instagram.
Yeah.
And be like, you're a liability to yourself, your family, and your community.
Yeah.
If you're a cop and you don't do some sort of grappling regularly.
Oh, bro. Like, if you can't control a person on the ground, what's your alternative? You got to beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. What's your go-to?
Shoot 'em.
Yeah, you go to your lethal.
Yeah.
You're not going to go to your non-lethal.
No.
You're going to go to your lethal immediately.
Yeah.
And that's because you're scared shitless.
Yeah.
Which I get.
As you should be.
Yeah. But it's like, doing our sport, we get put in situations that heighten, you know, like when you, especially in the beginning when you don't really know much and you got some dude mounted on you and he's like hotboxing you, mother's milking you, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know. But then you start to learn over time, like, oh, it's actually better if I just be calm in this moment. So that's when it's like, we'll have a blue belt with a full-on bow and arrow thinking that they're killing us, and it's like, okay, just calm down, get my 2-on-1 and just let's work out of this. And sometimes you get got. Yeah. But happens. You know, a lot of time you can actually get out.
Or times you get out if you are relaxed.
Especially, more than like doing something silly and being tense and all that.
Yeah. I explain that to a lot of like, especially white belts, because you know, I think at blue belt you've started to kind of figure a lot of that stuff out. The like breathing is like the number one thing. Like if they're like, like, you know, you'll play with a white belt or whatever, and you'll let them on your back, and you just hear them in your ear because that's where they are, and they're just like, I'm like, dude, you're in a great spot. Yeah, relax. Yeah. Like, but they're just like, fight.
One of your white belts kissed my ear the other day.
Yeah, that's what I teach them.
Okay, I was wondering whose influence that was.
Like below the lobe.
Yes.
I like to have them nibble.
That's your mark. Not on the ear. That's gross.
No, he wasn't on the. I don't have cauliflower, but it wasn't on the top part there. Right. Because if you had cauliflower, that'd be gross.
That's so disgusting.
But it was at the lobe, so it was like my ears are very floppy. Yeah, that's why I don't think I have any.
Right.
So it's like, I get it. It was tantalizing. It's sitting there. It's like a fish
trying to seduce you.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, so
what were we talking about?
So my favorite video, and I've watched it several times, is that's a couple. No.
He loves that one.
when cops bust down a door in a like no knock warrant raid, and they bust down this door and they go through the house, and then they fucking have everybody in handcuffs, or there's like children, like, you know, handcuffed, and then they're like, we're in the wrong house.
They shoot the dog.
All that. Like, there was a guy. He shot a fucking dog.
This happens so much. There's so many videos. It's like, Jesus Christ.
So the guy shoots the dog, but I guess his partner didn't hear the shot. He was outside.
Yeah.
And because they try to go in through the back door, dogs are like, people, and they ran outside. Right. Yeah. Boom, shoots the dog, and then the lady's like, wait, what happened to my dog? And the other cop goes, my partner tased him, and the partner's like, oh no, I shot him, and she's like, you fucking what?
Yeah.
Like.
Now they have a hostile person on their hands there.
Oh my God. Yeah. And the dog
by
died.
The way, that camera.
It's good. It's good. I checked it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, so all that training, and they didn't go to check the address day.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So,
how does that happen? How does that happen?
Bro.
I have a buddy. Yeah. You might have, never mind. He came to your gym like a week or two ago. He came and visited. And his name's David, and he's on the violent warrant task force with like the U.S. Marshals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he has to do those.
Yeah, that's
and
rough. Dude.
He's a purple belt and he's awesome. But it's like he's got some crazy stories where he's had to do all that kind of stuff. And it's like, you wonder, like, how do you guys not just, there's numbers on a door?
Well, here's the thing.
You can check your phone.
Here's the thing. I will say this, and it's I'm not sticking up for anybody. I mean, mistakes are made, right? Whatever. But I have a friend who served on a special unit for a police force, right? and it's like, call it a SWAT team, whatever you want to call it. They call it several different things. But what they were doing to those guys, and I don't know that every police department does this, but it's a finite group, right? It's like having, 50 shortstops. They're all fucking great. The trick is not everyone is supposed to make it. You don't lower standards,
right.
and you only have a finite amount of people that can pass those standards and meet the requirements to be on that team, right? And these guys train their asses off. They're really good at what they do, but sometimes they're running ragged for 48 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, here's a house, go hit it. No, it's a van that's transporting whatever, people or guns, and you gotta catch it, right? Yeah. And they're going, and he was saying that, and I won't say where he worked or what his name is, but he was saying like there were times like he's in his truck and he just pulls into a parking lot and sleeps.
Yeah.
Because that's the only option he had. He couldn't go home. He went like a day and a half without showering. That's how fucking busy they were.
Yeah.
So to say that, these guys are all fresh and they're walking in and kicking down doors. No, they're fucking tired, man.
Well, we were just talking about this yesterday. I have a buddy that he's decided he's going to go to medical school, and he's dating a eye surgeon, and so she's in her residency right now, and she has to do these crazy long shifts. She's in the ER for.
I know where you're going with this. God, I fucking.
And so you're talking about an eye surgeon in the ER.
Yeah.
That will be stuck at the hospital for 24 to 48 hours, something like that. And then out of nowhere, they have to operate, and they're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
The nurses are sleep deprived.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that trickles down to the cops.
I was going to say
100%.
Like, whose fucking idea was like, hey, it'd be great to do to students? Right before they become a doctor, we have to treat them like slaves.
Yeah.
And don't let them sleep.
Endanger every client.
And endanger every single person that comes to the door.
Let's put them on the Guantanamo Bay protocol.
Yeah. Whose fucking idea was that? Yeah. And they do it for nurses and they do it for doctors. And it's almost always like ER stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you have to go work at the hospital completely sleep deprived. It's like,
right. While you
how
work
about
on
we
an eyeball.
don't do that because people, the public goes to the hospitals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's bananas. They're on like a Navy SEAL boot camp thing.
How that hasn't been forced to be fixed yet is beyond me. I don't know how that works.
I mean, and the same thing with I go back to cops all the time. Think about this. They're dealing with people who are probably decent 99% of the time. But that one day that they have a bad day, they have to interact with this cop, and it's the worst day of their life, right? And cops have to do this all the time. They never see those people in their 99.9% of their life. They see that at 0.1, and it's a shitty day, and they're fucking getting yelled at, and they don't get any time off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't. there's no decompression.
And 90% of the time, cops are getting lied to.
Yes.
So they're
100%.
They're on edge.
100% of the time they're getting lied
dude,
to.
It's like,
they're bending the truth no matter what. Were you speeding?
I don't know. See the sign.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's an interesting way to live, and I thought about doing it when I got out of the Navy, and I was like, nah. For the money, I don't think it was worth it. So
how do you guys treat officers when they come in?
We kick them
like
out.
shit. We treat them like shit.
Well, because there's some
punch them in the face.
People that they'll just sub them a bunch.
No. I don't treat them any differently than I treat anybody else, man.
Yeah.
I want them to feel comfortable being in I want them to be in horrible situations with really good people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to treat them like family. I mean, I've got a lot of we've made a lot of cop friends thanks to jiu-jitsu, and otherwise probably
it's kind of natural.
I got to put my foot on his desk.
But I'm curious where that question's coming from, because I try to treat them well, they price wise, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Of course. I mean more so so when officers would come in, because I was the day class instructor.
Yeah.
And since I was a brown belt.
Okay.
So I've been teaching for a few years, and day class is notoriously where a lot of the firemen and cops, just
guys with the odd schedules.
Yeah, schedules, Boeing guys, Microsoft, all that.
Yeah.
And so when cops come in, especially if they were like they're just signed up or something, I kind of made it a point. I would rarely submit them. If I did, it was typically in a wrist lock.
Yeah.
Just to like show them that like something as dumb as this can actually work.
Yeah.
But
wrist locks aren't real.
Yeah. And then, but I would typically just like, I'm not a huge like smash kind of style, but I would make like a lot of pressure, a lot of pinning, like I said, I'm not submitting them.
Yeah, it's always good.
But like side control, knee on belly, but not like the style where you're like piercing their soul like across the belt line, just to pin them. Just make it so they can't move and always control their hands. So they kind of like, I can, at the end of the round, I can say, you notice how you couldn't move your hands? Like, or I pinned them in between our chests or what have you. I had wrist control because I can then tell them like in literally 6 months, you can have the ability to do what I just did because I didn't do anything crazy.
Right.
I just used basic, always keep track of that hands, so you don't get your sidearm grabbed or something like that. And then have good weight distribution.
Yeah.
And they're always bigger than me.
Yeah.
And so I would always make it a point to roll with them in that way. Yeah. To where it's like they're also breathing crazy heavy. They're exerting a ton of effort. Their economy of movement sucks. And we're always breathing through our nose. And at the end, that was crazy. And we're like, yeah, do you want to do another one? And so, like, that's where that question comes from, is because I always made it a point to do that. Now, I would say I was always a little bit rougher than maybe some of the others, which I think was a good balance. Yeah, because they could go with some black and brown belts or even purple belts that. Like a purple belt's going to probably attack the shit out of them and probably try to sub them a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
But the black and browns, they're probably going to be more controlled and stuff like that. And then I would always kind of just apply maybe a little bit more like dirty pressure and stuff like that.
But as like a teaching thing, not as like a revenge kind of thing.
No.
This is for that speeding ticket.
Yeah. I will say, if one of their... So the local precincts that were close to us, we were Everett, there was Edmonds and Lake Stevens and Arlington and stuff. And we had guys that were in all Bellevue. Had guys in all those cities training at ours. And if one of the guys that recommended them was in, that's like a purple belt or something, they always made them roll with me because they knew what I was going to do. So when I would do it, it's basically guaranteed. I wouldn't do this if their friend wasn't there that trained. But if they were, I'm going to yell 2 or 3 times, stop resisting. Like, I'm going to be on their back.
But speaking of that, like what I notice, a lot of the cops that I train with, they, I shouldn't say a lot, some of them get injured a lot. And they get injured a lot because they think they're in a fight. Yeah. And I try to explain to them, like, be a little bit more playful in here and you'll see, I mean, it's exponential growth.
And that's the mentality thing, right? Where you're like, you're going to go to your lethal immediately because you're in fight or flight.
Yeah.
And
you've never learned to manage it.
At all.
Right.
You never even put yourself in a moment to manage it.
But think about it this way. They can't lose that fight in a street. They can't lose that fight. So I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. It's scary. Like, I'm a gun guy. Yeah. And, we're just, I think, naturally being people that understand the...
Airsoft.
Yes. The Red Rider. Yeah. People that understand the consequences of violence, even from a grappling perspective, if you served or whatever, doesn't matter. But just being in a grappling perspective, you understand is why when you're a black belt, you're like, I'm not going to like just jump into some altercation. Right. Or if some guy like shoulder checks you, you're just like, oh, fuck, my bad, dude. Yeah. We're not going to, typically, you're not going to machismo up.
Right.
But because we understand what can happen. Yeah. And that's kind of like a similar thing. We understand that if we exert all this like energy and get all crazy, like that's not going to help us win this ultimate fight that we 100%. Need to win.
Yeah.
Staying calm in that moment.
Yeah. I mean, at a cognitive level, right? Like when you think about it, it's obvious to say that like, your 5-minute roll in class is going to be completely different as far as consequences go as like even just a bar fight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously that's different. Right. But I think like remember being a white belt, it's like your body doesn't know that a lot of the times, like especially if you've never been in like any sort of grapple or any sort of fight, right?
Yeah.
Your body just thinks, oh, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
Like even if it is like your first day as fundamentals class, you have this roll, you roll with the blue belt and he beats the shit out of you, right?
Yeah.
Your body thought it was gonna die.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
I didn't know. Like I remember this. I can't remember who did it, but I remember I was in a bow and arrow and I thought my back was gonna break. Like I didn't. But I guess
how many white belts
like,
you see like they just panic, right? They're panicking.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah.
A lot of some people either like they get real machismo and they just want to fucking muscle out of everything, or you get the guy who's like panicking every time you touch something and they're like tap it because they know they can get out that way.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one thing everyone knows: you tap, you're free.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I have a squirrel brain.
That's okay. Hit it.
You have a son?
I do.
He trains at Ethos?
I do. Yeah.
I saw him at Fred Meyer.
Oh really?
Oh really?
He was wearing an Ethos training
Traitor.
thing. Yeah. And
Traitor.
I just left your open mat.
You should have fought him.
You should have beat him up.
You should have fought him.
Well, I was like, oh, Ethos, you train? He's like, yeah. Do you? And I was like, yeah, I train a little bit. I just did a open mat actually at an Aries East Mesa. And he goes, really? I go, yeah, it was fun. And he goes, that's my dad. You don't look Mexican.
He's the whitest.
He
Mexican
is.
ever.
Yeah. I love him.
And so
He
we kind of
is.
hit it off a little bit.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I signed up at Paul's. And so he's like, that's like
Did you guys
my
go out to
uncle.
dinner afterwards?
I mean, we kissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheeks.
Yeah. That's cool.
But he was super nice.
He's a great kid. My ex-wife is she is extremely white. She's from northern Michigan.
Okay.
And all of her brothers, all of her family's like super, super tall. So that's kind of where Tony gets that. But yeah, I mean, Tony fights MMA.
Yeah.
And so they have a good striking program out there with Wyatt Shepard and those guys, Viking Striking, all those guys.
Yeah. That's
And
what it was.
yeah, it was.
I've dropped in there when I was testing gyms.
Yeah.
In October when I came and visited my family.
Yeah.
And that's where I dropped into Paul's for the first time. And like I think I went to Roots and Carlson Gray. Like I went to a
How
bunch
hot
of
was it
different-
at Roots? You think
warm.
Paul's is hot?
No.
That was the worst experience of my life.
It is so hot there in the summer.
So I literally, that was when I came, so I went to Paul's and then on, I think it was a Saturday.
Yeah.
And there was no one there. Brendan was teaching two guys.
Bummer.
And he was like, dude, go to East Mesa. They're good. There's an open mat. I was like, okay, so I run over there and everyone's leaving. Because it was at 9.
Yeah.
And I looked at Instagram and I saw I thought it was 10. Anyways. So then they recommend.
Oh, you were in that transition day
Yes.
when it was my last 9 a.m. Yeah.
So then they recommend me to go to Roots.
Yeah.
Because they start at 11.
Yep.
So I'm going back basically where I came from. And I go there. But the guys.
So you stopped at 3 schools in one day.
Yes.
Just to
I was
roll.
committed. I hadn't trained
Sounds
in
like it.
4 days. And so this guy.
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Addict.
Somebody get him a drink, please.
Yeah.
God
And
damn
I
it.
had my father-in-law just toting along with me.
Oh, no.
He's just living. And so we go to, but they tell us, they're like, take water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like a Guam black belt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Gerson?
Gerson's? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Roots. He was at your gym at the open.
Carlos?
mat.
Oh, he's not Guam
A
though.
little bit bigger guy, maybe Hawaiian.
I
I don't think he's an East Mesa guy.
no, he's not. He's with Carlos Farias.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
gosh. Hang on. Don't leave. Hang on. I got this. Chanson.
Jansen.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Jansen?
Yes. Gosh. Sorry, Chan.
Oh, I didn't actually know he was Guam.
No, he's Hawaiian.
You're not
he's
Mexican?
He's from Hawaii. My brown belt, Stacy Crew. That's his stepson.
Oh, I knew that.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
You didn't know that.
I
He
did.
didn't know.
He's told me this before.
Okay.
He's over 50. He tells me the same story
I do
every day.
so many times, and he's always so polite. He just
Yeah.
sits there quietly, like, okay, it's over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Amazing.
Okay, it's over. Good, yeah.
So he tells me, but make sure you got water.
Yeah.
And I got this thing.
Yeah,
And then
that's barely enough.
I pulled that out and he looks into my soul. He goes, take water. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
I go to Roots and that was incredible. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And it was 114 that day.
Yeah.
And they started telling me, sometimes we open the garage door. I was like, what is that going to do?
Nothing.
That's just letting hell in.
Yeah.
And then it was so
You're letting
hot.
hell out.
Yes,
actually.
yes. It
It's
was
that
so-
humidity. You need to get that humidity out.
brutal. And I leave and literally my kidneys hurt for the next 2 days.
Yeah, you're just dehydrated as fuck.
Yeah, and I drink. So this is, I think it was at 60 ounces or something.
Yeah,
I put you know what Element is.
Yeah, love it.
Ballast.
Yeah. We are sponsored by Salt. So
okay, so I use Salt.
Censor those.
Salt.
Yeah.
Steven, do your thing.
Bleep it. So I use a crap ton of that stuff. You know, it's got potassium, magnesium, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Electrolytes and salt. And I blast that stuff. And my kidneys still like my wife's like looking it up and talking to Chris, and it's like, dude, you gotta chill. Like you're dangerous because you don't want to mess with your kidney pain.
Yeah.
And it lasted 2 days, so
never
going back.
Have you done the morning elements, like cocoa and stuff like that?
Oh no,
I got some. I'll give you some.
What is it?
It's a salt, but you put it in like your coffee or put it in your hot chocolate or tea. It's actually really good.
I'm a coffee guy.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I'll give you some.
Yeah. I always tell everyone back to the water thing. It's like, all right, look, it's not that bad. You just got to stay hydrated, and it's like if you have a break. Even if you don't think you're thirsty, just drink a little bit of water.
Yeah.
Drink a little bit of water.
With how much we sweat in this sport, you absolutely want to. And that's like bare minimum, take in some sort of liquid to replenish what you're losing.
Yeah.
But
electrolytes for sure.
Yeah. If you just got to have some sort of salt and stuff like that. Otherwise,
makes a big difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
For my cardio, not down here because I have like the worst cardio in the city. But
we're not at sea level. We're at high up at 1,000 feet.
1,300. Thank you very much.
I swear it makes a difference.
Yeah.
I used to be a month ago when I was in Seattle. I could literally do rounds.
Yeah.
Rounds. Don't stop.
Yeah.
If I do a back-to-back right now,
oh yeah,
I'm
dude.
Struggle bus.
Oh, well, we went to Mexico's 5,000.
5,000. Dude, when we were rolling in Mexico, I was like, what is that squeaking? That was my breath. I didn't know it was me. I didn't know it was me. It was like a little squeak I could hear. It was like, that was me. Holy shit, dude.
It's your old body breathing.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. Yeah, dude. So Roots is really hot.
Yeah.
Gerson's an awesome guy.
And he's got Lineage up in Washington.
Yeah.
I met him up there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Super nice guys there.
I took my very first jiu-jitsu class from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There was a place called Rough House. Arthur Ruff had a place that's
he's up north.
Yeah.
He's in Federal Way.
Okay.
He's buddies with Andrew, my coach.
Okay. So Arthur was one of the guys in the coaching area when I fought the founder, BJ, because he's under. Yeah. So anyway, Arthur and Gers were really close. Gers, when Arthur moved, I think maybe he moved like Midwest or something. But Gers was teaching, and I was just like, fuck it, I'll just go check it out, right? Yeah. And some of the people that were there that day are at Roots now, and a couple of them are in my academy now. Mm-hmm. And when one of them walked in, John Belcher, he's like, yeah, man, I trained here and there in Rough House. And I was like, I know. I said, I took my first jiu-jitsu class. You were a blue belt when I took my first class. He's like, oh, no shit. I was like, yeah, we met. So
John's still brown belt, right?
Yeah, he's a brown belt. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
I love those like kind of like don't see each other for a while.
Yeah.
You're still in it kind of thing.
I love the photos that come out from like 10, 15 years ago, and you're like,
I hate those photos.
Gone.
Yeah.
Here, gone. I love playing.
I hate
game.
looking like, oh God, I look like such a dork.
Oh yeah.
We have at Cascade, he printed out every, we would do like a December promotion day. Like there's promotions throughout the year, but that's the big one.
Yeah.
And he's printed out the last since 2018, each one. So through I don't know if you say the C word. COVID.
Oh yeah.
We don't say because we're a health and wellness podcast.
Oh, gotcha.
So we say Voldemort because you shall not be named.
The pandy.
Yes, yeah. I'll get that tinfoil hat on if you guys want. I'm ready.
Let's go, baby.
Blast off. So we have like from 18 all the way through that. You can see the team like dwindle, and then you see this giant explosion.
Yeah,
because we would have we were average on a Tuesday or a Monday and Thursday. Those are our bigger classes.
Yeah,
like 60.
Wow,
in one class. Yeah,
holy crap!
It was pretty good size last couple of years.
That's awesome. Yeah. No, I'm starting to do that. I took the October photo last year, and I had it.
Is that the one that's on the wall?
Yeah.
Above the tables.
Yeah. So I had it printed out on like the board, and I'm gonna move that. Like whoever's still here gets to sign it when I move it, and then I'm gonna put the new one up. So every October promotion is gonna be that one, and I invite like all area schools. So I want everybody to be there.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking.
So you go through and you like, you look and like, oh, that guy, he's dead, I'm sure. That guy's still around.
Yeah, but I want people to feel like, you know, they're part of something. Like, hey, man, I've been here through 3 of these things, 5 of these things.
Yeah, it's cool to like other people that only know you as a black belt or only know you as a brown belt or something like that. And they're like, dang, that's when Bill was a white belt. And that's when he was a blue belt. And I had an Amish beard. I grow very Amishy.
So cool.
It's pretty sweet. Yeah. And
just underneath the
yeah, I'm neck bearded out. And then it gets very patchy. And then so there was a point where I didn't trim my beard, like not even the whiskers.
Yeah.
For a year and a half.
Gross.
Or my hair. Oh, and I don't know if you can tell with these headphones on. I got quite the hairline. George Costanza. Anybody?
Yeah.
And I like basically the cops were called every time I walked by a school. It was gnarly.
Do you think you could ever live Amish?
I think I could.
You think so?
I think I could because
I'm not talking like Rumspringer Amish. I'm talking like regular day to day.
Right. Like so my mom grew up like kind of like a homesteader in Alaska.
Okay.
And like she basically lived in a trailer in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, and they had to fend for themselves and like,
shoot fucking bears and shit.
All that stuff. And basically my grandpa was didn't want to be found. There's certain people.
Was he wanted?
Well, there's certain people that move to Alaska in the rural areas.
Yeah.
There's hippies.
Okay.
There's natives, right? They want to get back to like Lineage or something like that.
Yep.
And then there's another group of people that do not want to be found.
Gotcha.
He was one of them.
Okay.
And so they
did you have to fly a plane to get to where he was and it lands in the water and shit?
Oh, I'm sure. Well, let's see. You could fly into Anchorage, and then I think if I remember right, it was like an hour outside of like north of Anchorage or something like that. Okay. Little tiny thing. And then so like that whole, and then in Washington she had property and took care of herself and stuff like that. And so I think now this is the thing. I'm a city boy. I grew up in a place called Edmonds where it's a bunch of white old people.
Yeah.
And I see the homesteader thing and Amish, and there's something about it that's like, that seems like the life,
dude.
But then I think about wiping my bee with a piece of like reusable cloth.
No, I'm sure they use toilet paper, right?
Until there isn't any. What, are you going to go to Walmart?
No. We're not talking about Alaska. We're talking just living Amish.
I don't know. I don't know if they use.
Yeah, we totally went like wilderness living instead of Amish living.
No, I'm
the thing is, like, you can't, because there's religious things within that. That's why they don't have zippers and stuff like that. So I don't know how. It depends on which.
R in the zipper.
Yeah,
I wonder if they use toilet paper.
My bad.
Yeah.
Steven.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so have you ever like had to go and you're not prepared to go and you kind of you come back with one.
I'm a Boy Scout. I'm always
one
prepared.
Less sock. I have. Pretty awesome. I'm just saying, wiping with a sock.
Wasn't bad.
No.
Costco sock?
No, it wasn't a Costco sock. It was a little thicker than that. Yeah, I think these were like Walmart socks.
Okay.
Yeah, white ones.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think... See, I don't
Costco,
think... Costco,
this rich motherfucker over here.
Remember when like all the COVID stuff was happening and people were like rushing to get TP and all that
dude,
kind of
that
stuff?
was hilarious.
I thought that was hilarious because like, you guys don't take showers? Yeah. Right. You got a bidet right next to your toilet.
The waffle stomp, homie. Yeah.
Oh, I have an old roommate.
1 in 20.
Yes.
1 in Sierra, 20. If you're listening, 1 in 20.
1 in 20.
What is this?
Shit in the shower.
Shit in the shower.
Oh, you see, that wasn't me.
Yeah.
But I have a roommate that he would tell us. So we had 7 dudes living in a 2-bedroom house. This is before I met my wife. And
bad idea.
It was an idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was me, and then I had 1 bedroom with another guy named Bill. He would happen to be like 6'5".
Okay.
So there was 2 Bills in a bed.
Yep.
And we tried, I'm getting a little off topic here, but we would try to lay like our heads at each other's feet.
Can't do it.
And then I realized this asshole 6'5", and his toes are in my nose while my feet are at his abdomen.
His size 16 feet.
Yeah. So I said, no, we're big spoon, little spooning, buddy.
Yeah.
That lasted literally an hour.
Yeah.
And then for the next year, we just spooned. And so then there was my other buddies that had the other bedroom that there would be 2 to 3 guys in there, and then the rest were on the couch surfing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's going to be fights and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah.
Have you ever seen the inside of these doors? It's like 2 thin pieces.
They're cardboard.
It looks like cardboard.
Yeah, and then it's like just cardboard in there.
Yeah.
It's hollow.
The paint is holding it together, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the trimming around it.
Yeah.
Well, at some point, there was a fight, and one side of the door was gone. So it was super flimsy. Like, it would latch, but you could like press the top of it and like look
it would fold enough that the latch would come down.
And it got to the point where it was just so flimsy that it would latch, and it was like a flag. And so you could see people going to the bathroom. And what would happen is sometimes Mitch, I'm calling him out, is we would all be playing Xbox. Like, there's 10 of us playing Xbox. And then all we would hear
I can smell this room.
Oh, yeah. So bad.
And then all we would hear is... And we would be like, what the fuck is that? And then we would turn around, and he's just going... He's just going side to side.
Just like twisting his hips, like flipping his hips.
But his pants are at his ankles and his undies.
So slapping his dick.
He was flapping his dick.
That's all we would hear.
Oh, my God.
And then we would all turn around and be like, gotcha. And like, oh, my gosh. And then, like,
I was about to ask why.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then sometimes, just to get us.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, like, he would leave the door open while he was going to the bathroom, and then we would hear it, which would make us turn. And he's intentionally hovering over the toilet.
Oh, no.
And then so we could see him pooping.
Oh, my God. This guy's my hero, dude.
And then he...
I would never do it, but he is my hero.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And then the waffle stomp thing. He would tell us about how he just had to go, but it was like the best thing. Once he figured it out that like he could go to the bathroom in the shower and then just shower. He's already in there.
Yeah.
So he's clean as a whistle.
Yeah.
But he was like, depending on what my diet was, you had to push that stuff down.
Yeah.
And
to be fair, shitting like after the shower is like, it just feels weird.
It's weird. Yeah, I have to shower again.
It's borderline inappropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know you have to shit. Shit first.
Shit first. Yeah. But sometimes you shit, you shower, and you're like, oh, I wasn't done.
Man, this podcast is not for everybody.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Yeah. Come on, everybody shits.
Were we going to talk about CJI and ADCC?
No, never. No,
Bro.
we're talking about shitting.
I'm gonna eat my words, man. CJI was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah,
The
so
best.
you told
I
me-
was shitting on it. I was.
You told me you were going to eat your words, and I
am-
said, shut your mouth. I don't want to hear it until we're on the pod.
Yes. So
What are
let's
your
switch
words?
gears. So I said
Hard left
here's
here.
the thing. Here's the thing.
Hard R.
Here's the thing.
Ooh.
If I'm going to give somebody $3 million to put on a show, it's probably going to be someone pretty popular, that people are going to follow, right?
The person you're giving the money to.
Yeah. But and Craig Jones is that 100%. He got a lot of followers, got a lot of people that believe in him. I just didn't think his business acumen was such that he could pull it off.
Right.
Right.
I mean, what was it, like a 3-month lead?
Yeah.
Like that's
How do you-
I think it was probably a lot more than that. I think there's a lot that happened that none of us saw.
So
guaranteed.
Yeah.
William Tackett came out and said that 6 months prior is when he got his first message.
Wow.
From Craig saying, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And I think at that point he probably had the funding probably secured.
Yeah.
That like, okay, I got this rich dude that's willing to do it.
Yeah.
Now I need to put feelers out of who will I be able to get for it.
Yeah.
Before we like secure the venue and actually spend money.
Yeah.
So I think it's potentially only like a 6-month development there.
Yeah.
Insane.
Which is crazy.
But I mean,
Insane.
talk about a leap of faith. Like thinking about like, am I going to be able to pull these people from ADCC? Because that was his goal, right?
Right.
Is to be like, hey, jump ship from ADCC and come do this.
But you know what? If I think that's a really good point, because if you would have said, hey, it's going to be $100,000 to the winner. Okay. All right. 100 grand. Okay.
But
It's going to be
Invitational does
It's
that.
going to be $1 million to the winner. I'm in. I'm in. You know.
Yeah.
But he had two things he wanted to do: is obviously the money thing, but also he kind of wanted to like make these guys make a choice between ADCC and CJI.
It was like a unionizing thing.
To show that people wanted that more than they wanted the prestige, quote unquote, of like winning.
Like
ADCC.
What makes prestige? The
Right.
money, which ADCC historically had been the top paying tournament.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we all didn't really know for a long time what you made. There was always rumors.
Right. Yeah,
And I had always heard the $40,000 number, but then as we have found out, that's only for the super fight and the open champ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was only 10,000 until all this stuff started happening.
And people started spilling the beans.
Yeah.
And then you're talking about like the production value of ADCC is far superior. However,
Not this year.
no, it was absolutely.
I don't
was.
think it was as good as last
No,
year's.
but hear me out.
You were there.
Like
I was there.
watching the athletes come out, big screens, fire, smoke, all this shit, fucking cool. What CGI did so well is you were glued to that pit.
Yeah.
Because you did not know what was going to happen. On a scramble with ADCC, like, okay, they're probably going to float out of bounds and they're going to hit some chairs or go under a table and
Go into the hallway.
It's very it's very obvious what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
With this shit, they're going up against that fucking wall or that whatever you want, that ramp, and guys were climbing up with their feet so they could get guillotines and stuff and jump in. I was like, that's cool. It even made the super heavy fights, the heavy fights. I don't know what they call them. Heavy. Wait, I don't know what they call
The
it.
80 kilo,
80
and then
kilo plus.
under
The
80 kilo.
the 80 kilo plus made it watchable
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
So-
there was nowhere to run.
I will say this. So I went to 2022's ADCC, and then I went to this one, and I went to CJI. 2022's ADCC was by far the best show I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Did you guys go to that one?
Nah,
Watch.
So
we don't have money like you.
right, ballin'. So that show was incredible.
Yeah.
That show made it so, like, my gym mates and us, we were like, we're going to the next one.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Didn't matter what was going on. And we committed to it just because of how big that show is. This ADCC, and I'll get to the CJI thing comparison.
Yeah.
This ADCC, from a production standpoint, was nowhere near as good.
No shit.
Nowhere near.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Did you watch both of them? Like they were.
You
so
know
much-
I don't watch that shit.
You know I slept through it.
Yeah.
For-
I'm on my phone.
And I don't know from the stream how it was perceived, but now the stands were way emptier than you would ever imagine.
Yeah.
Now, you look at the T-Mobile Arena and like the tickets and stuff, you can see like what was sold.
Yeah.
And it was damn near sold out.
Yeah.
But when you were there, except for during the finals, not even like the beginning of the finals where the heavy boys were going, like Big Dan and Luke Griffith. That was, I think, some of the first matches of the finals or semis. It was very sparse.
Yeah.
It wasn't until literally the finals that like people had really started to fill in. And but from like the fireworks and stuff like that, like it wasn't as good. And
It's not where the money should be spent, in my opinion, anyway.
total, and they couldn't
Yeah.
because T-Mobile, as we found out, is $2 million to just get that building. And at this point, even with CJI, I don't think we need to be in those kind of buildings.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
We do not need
No.
that. Like, I think like
'Cause
something.
they were at UNLV, right?
Yeah.
Thomas and Mack,
Way too big.
which is where 2022 was ADCC. It's the same venue.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was Craig at first wasn't planning on doing it the same. He came out this on podcast. I think Lex's second one that wasn't necessarily the initial goal, but then when they looked at the openings of dates, that date was open.
No
and
shit.
That's what stoked him to be like, well, that would be a motherfucker.
The one that they used last year.
Yes,
Yeah.
the one they used last year.
Yeah.
And on the same weekend.
Yep.
And that's what got the ball rolling in his mind of, well, now we can actually really shake things up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so most of the people that went to CGI, I have to assume already had tickets to ADCC, right?
Probably.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Because now
You're already in town.
you're already going to spend if you have a plus one, your
Yeah.
$1,000 to go down there.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I'm staying in a hotel. all that
Hotel
shit,
room and all that kind of stuff. The rooms were actually, the ADCC deals at MGM were really good. I think we only paid a few $100s.
Okay.
But and then you got your flights and all that, and then you're gonna pay $12 for a 12-ounce water, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So
well, there's a reason for that.
yeah, what's that?
Well, there's a lot of hands in the pot.
That's true. That's true. Well, it's when your smart water is literally like a small little smart water.
Yeah.
And
I just assume they go to the gas station outside to buy it. Right. They're not getting it wholesale. That's why you have to pay $10 for one.
Right. They're just dumb.
Yeah. It's poor.
So I have to imagine now CGI. It wasn't a full house either. A lot of people, thousands of people, absolutely, but it was not packed. Like as in like some of the photos in the finals. Yes, that was packed. But day one, not so much.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a product of them making you stay in the once you go in, you can't leave?
That was
the venue.
number one bullshit.
That was the dumbest thing I ever.
horrible.
Did they do that 2022?
No. So what we found out, because when we were at CJI the first day, and I will give that team, the CJI team, credit. We timed it because we were like, what the hell is taking so long? They did 3 matches in an hour and a half or something.
Yeah.
And they were all heavyweights, which were kind of boring.
Yeah.
And it was before the Victor Hugo loss. And we're like,
talk about an upset.
yeah, all of our energy was like high, but we're like, man, the pace kind of sucks, huh?
Yeah.
Especially for only having one mat. And it was because they were doing the post-fight interview and then a 10-minute intermission. So it would take 15 to 17 minutes. We had our stopwatches to get in between matches.
Yeah.
It's completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
So like we felt you don't need to do the interviews until like the semis probably.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason. And then but we found that on day 2 they absolutely adjusted.
Oh, that's good.
Where they were only doing like 5 minutes in between and
Yeah.
it really got the pace going.
Yeah.
Much better. But so the whole pace thing was crazy. What was I going to say?
I don't know.
Dude, where was I going?
I don't know what's going to come out of your mouth. All I know is,
true.
Steven, you better be sharp. And
There was something about the ADCC, CJI.
we were talking about production versus.
Well, we were talking about being stuck in the building.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So then the 80 kilos are going, and we're like, you know what? And they had on the schedule an hour and a half intermission in between 80 and under.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay.
Is this? I'm sorry. Is this ADCC or CJI?
CJI.
Okay, got it.
And I'm like, because in 2022 ADCC at the Thomas and Mack, we could come and go.
Yeah.
We did it for when Gordon was about to do a super fight. I had my friend from Moscow. He jumped in the car because he had his car there, and we're like, you got to go full Moscow and just we got to get to Taco El Gordo's.
Oh, I love that place.
Yeah.
God,
and we got to get there and back in like 20 minutes,
dude. If there's no line, maybe.
Right, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
there was a line.
There's always a line, dude.
Always, and he goes full Moscow status. He's running red lights, like it didn't matter. Just beautiful Russian. And
was he wearing like a jumpsuit, like the Russian matching?
but he
bottom?
did wear his fuzzy hat.
Okay.
It was awesome. And we actually got back just in time. It was amazing. And so anyways, we knew we could come and go at Thomas and Mack last time.
Yeah.
So when we tried, because we're like, let's just cut out. We'll miss the last few 80 plus fights. Doesn't matter. We're okay with it, and we'll come back for the lower weights. They stopped us at the doors and said, you cannot come and go. I was like, we have to stay for another 7 hours? Because that's when it was projected, was like another 7. And they were like, yeah, sorry. It's like, so you can only eat from these 4 food vendors, which are just shit food.
Yeah.
And, you know, that like really
They really
was a bummer.
Shit the bed. They shit the bed with that.
So then we look at T-Mobile
Yeah.
at ADCC, and we're like, okay, are they going to do the same thing? Because my wife was like, you going to be on your own tomorrow,
Wait, so you
buddy.
said CGI would not let you come and go?
CGI did not let us at Thomas and Mack.
Wow.
So
Okay.
then we Google T-Mobile at ADCC, and they have the same policy. It says on there. But what we noticed, we compared Thomas and Mack and T-Mobile is standard policy is you will not be allowed to come and go for any event, right? That's just the venue's policy.
I'm sure it's like a security nightmare.
Well, but most events are 3 hours.
Correct.
A music event, a basketball game, something
Yeah.
like this, right?
It's reasonable to
Yeah.
tell you to be there for 3 hours.
Right. That's not even an issue.
Yeah.
But in the fine print, it says, unless stated by the event organizer that you can come and go, you will not be allowed to. And that's when we were like, oh, it's a big ass oversight by Craig's team.
Yeah.
Because at ADCC this year at T-Mobile, you could come and go.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So ADCC, they thought about that and allowed it. Craig's team, obviously, it was an oversight and didn't request that from the venue.
Gotcha.
And that really like made it a difficult day.
Because I was even thinking like watching it on like Flow Grappling and YouTube, right? For either event. I was like, dude, I need a break from jiu-jitsu. Yeah. You know, because it's a lot of jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I'm a psycho. And I was like, dude, I'm out.
Yeah. But, and like, I didn't even watch the Absolute at ADCC. I was just like, I was burnt out.
I don't even want to buy tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't watch it at all.
Yeah.
I honestly don't watch jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Unless like if you were fighting at ADCC, I'd be there.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, if I don't know, man. I just can't get into it.
That was another thing that like helped because some people wonder like, how do you like progress quickly? Was I studied outside of
absolutely.
Class.
Absolutely.
Like, a shit ton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like every night.
You're obsessed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And weird thing is I actually been watching jiu-jitsu as a fan since 2004-ish.
Okay.
So like
I
have like a Facebook memory that pops up from 2010.
Yeah.
That it's me watching like Budo videos.
No kidding.
Worlds.
Yeah.
I didn't even train.
Yeah.
But I was watching Worlds with like 4 mats up.
Yeah.
You know?
So the way I work is like, okay, so if I'm gonna say I want to get better at lapel chokes from the back, I don't know, whatever, and I'll start studying it, and I'll find somebody who does it the best, and then I study their stuff, like their instructionals, and then I go to their live stuff, like how they actually apply it in competition versus the instructional. Sure. And that really gets it. It really helps me solidify the technique in my brain. But to sit there and watch I don't know, man. I just can't do it. If they're my students, if I know them, they're my friends or whatever, absolutely, I'm gonna watch. You know, but
I can totally understand that, because even myself being like an obsessive person with it, like I have those moments where I'm like, frick, man, this is like kind of killing me here.
Production wise, like if I had to choose between watching an event like CJI or ADCC, I would rather watch CJI because you know you're not going to miss anything unless you leave.
Yes, having 3 mats going at once,
it's annoying.
Is absolutely brutal. There was one point
or
where
more, like if you're talking about like Worlds or huge. Something. Yeah,
that's the most. I throw a lot of shit at IBJJF. I think they do some things extremely well. They run a tournament like better than anybody, 100%. But there's a lot of things I don't like behind IBJJF.
Yeah, sure.
But yes, 3 mats at one time. There was Mika Goval going against someone. Then there was Pato going against someone. Yeah. And then Baby Shark going against someone.
That's insane.
Like, I want to watch all 3 of them.
They should not be going at the same time.
And I'm like, holy smokes.
But I do appreciate that they don't have like mat assignments, which sounds like, that sounds like it's hell. Like, but like when you're watching like when you look at their the Flow Grappling setup, it tells you like who's on deck, and they go in order by number of fight. So if you're number 23 and you see that like 20 is going, you're like, 23 is coming up. They're going to be 3 fights from now.
Yeah. But they don't assign a mat to it.
Whatever mat's available, they throw them on there.
That's cool.
I forgot which one it was. Was using, I think, Smooth Comp, and you could go on and see who's next. That was awesome.
Very cool.
I can't remember if it was CJI or ADCC. I think it was CJI.
Yeah.
Where I think it was CJI, because that's how we saw the.
They were using Smooth Comp. No shit. Okay.
And that's how we could see the intermission.
Yeah.
And so we knew, like, okay, if we go get some food or something, like, I don't care about this guy. I don't care about this match. Okay, that especially they had a single mat.
Yeah.
So. Like, you knew I can get up, walk around, stretch the legs or something, and I'm not going to miss someone that I want to watch, because I know Andrew Tackett's up in 20 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was actually really nice to have that. From a production standpoint, though, like, CGI was yes, their screens weren't as big. They didn't have the fireworks, but...
Drummer.
Yeah, the drum, which ADCC didn't have the drummers this year. They didn't have them.
Come on, Mo.
Because everyone threw shade at the drummers and the prize
because they got paid
lady.
more than the athletes.
Yeah, that was a big thing. Literally.
Did they really?
Because they got paid.
Oh, wow.
Well,
if you don't win, you don't get paid.
But they were also, their bill was more than 10 grand, which is more than a winner.
Yeah.
So, but like a lot of that stuff, people like said that took one of the reasons why their pace was so slow at ADCC. They were saying the intros with the Pride lady and then the intros with the drums just made it too much, which they did tighten things up a bit. I would say the pace at ADCC was pretty good, especially when they went into the absolute, because like they were just running them.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that beat? Was it Kynan Duarte? I think he beat Baby Shark. He beats Baby Shark, or no, it was Dante. Sorry, Dante wins his first match. He goes back, and it was like 7-8 minutes later, he's back out.
Holy shit!
So it was just like they're trying to get to the semis.
Yep, as fast as
possible. So that was pretty.
That's when it really counts, though. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I know that the first round though was when you see some of the matchups, because you got Mika. Oh, who did he go in the first round? He had a pretty dope matchup, Mika Gaval, and then Pato had one of the heavyweights, like one of the ultras,
unbelievable.
And then Diogo, Baby Shark, had Kynan Duarte.
Oh,
so like they gave all the small guys these giants. But that was like just awesome to watch. Yeah. Dante had a great run too.
Yeah.
So.
The fight of the weekend, though, was Cade and Tackett.
For sure. I mean,
that fight
no doubt about it.
So fucking like there was action the entire fight.
And even Tackett, or you said Cade and Tackett?
Cade and Tackett. The semifinal fight of the under 80.
Yeah. I honestly really liked the. Did you guys watch the Levi versus Cade?
Yes. The final.
Even though like some people are throwing shade at that, I thought that was like. Cade
if you don't have the Cade Tackett fight before that fight's good.
Right. I could totally agree. See how people would like kind of think that.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like your expectation gets so high of like
that
we just watched one of the best matches ever.
Yeah, the most fire matches of
it's gonna
the
be
year.
like it's gonna go down, I think, like Gary Tonin versus Kron.
Oh, that was fucking awesome.
You know? It's gonna be one of those historical matches.
Yeah.
And the thing is with Levi though, it's like this Cade passed everyone's guard. Him and Tackett passed everybody's guard. And then Levi, he couldn't pass his guard.
Yeah.
Couldn't even come close. And then he was kind of talking shit.
Yeah.
And like would give him his back and stuff like that. And then as soon as he pulled, Levi got on top
and was ready to pass
and almost passed him in like 30 seconds.
And he was like, "Oh, bad plan."
Yeah,
bad
he got
plan.
to like leg drag really quick, and then you see Cade like, "Okay, let me get back up." Actually, it kind of sucks. So
I 100% agree with that.
Cade's ability to wrestle up is amazing, dude. He's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
My only problem with Levi is like he must have been tired because I feel like he was basically guard retentioning, right? Like almost the entire time he wasn't really attacking.
I would argue that he had a game plan and he stuck to it no matter what.
Yes, yeah.
Because otherwise he would have gotten his back taken.
Yeah.
And he gets worried, it seems, about economy of his cardio because there was times where he could have finished a wrestle up.
Yeah.
And maybe not actually finish the takedown.
Right.
But he was in a very good moment to come up with a leg or something where he boloed and all that. And he just bailed. He just sat right back down.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of the game plan too, man.
Exactly.
I also think he didn't want to get on his feet with Cade.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no,
wisely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Cade's going to throw
animal,
some
dude.
weird darces out there where he's going to mess with, he's going to pull your head and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he was definitely just staying in his game plan and is staying in his lane.
Yeah.
And I personally, I felt like Levi actually won the match.
Yeah.
Like if I was a judge, I would have actually given it to Levi. I understand why they gave it to Cade. He's on top.
The aggressor. Just the aggressor. Yeah.
And when I watch it, though, it's like Levi was an aggressor from the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like with the bolos and off balances and stuff like that. So who do you give that nod to?
Yeah.
Because Cade sometimes was like, he would step on the leg and he would come around, but he wouldn't engage like
Not
he normally
fully.
would.
He made it look like he was engaging without truly engaging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was judging those?
Yeah, J-Flow.
Yeah.
So Justin Flores, Mija from Legion, and a 10th Planet guy. I can't remember his name, but he's a bald dude. He's Grace Gundram's coach, I think.
Okay.
Which is nice that they got people from Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, and super respected. Like,
yeah.
J-Flow at least. I mean, you can't hear a single person say something bad about that guy.
Yeah.
And I think even Mihai, he's a judo black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt competitor.
Yeah.
And then I think even throwing in a 10th Planet guy is actually good because it's just their perspective on the sport's going to be a lot different.
Especially Nogi when you're talking about.
Yeah. And understanding like for example, when Cade would go for like a shitty toe hold, like there should be zero value in that.
Yeah.
And I think like a good competitor that knows legs.
Yeah.
I would assume the guy knows legs. Is not going to put much value on someone just grabbing a toe hold and
you grab the toe hold and you have no hip control or something.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like you have no limb control.
Yeah.
Especially against a bolo guy.
Yeah.
He's just
he's fine.
Twist out.
He's
of that.
completely
like
fine.
Yeah.
Not in danger at all.
Like if you go for a toe hold on Meow, would you ever?
He'll just let it. No, he'll just let it break.
Yes. Yeah. Would you ever give an advantage? I would never put an advantage on that.
No, absolutely not.
So from a visual perspective, ADCC had them a little bit, but not even enough that I would say like they did it better.
Yeah.
Honestly, CJI from a visual perspective was totally fine.
You were glued.
Yes, and that single match thing that you're talking about, epic. I do think though, I think they should have two alleys, if you will.
Pre-semi.
Yes, and then go into a single.
Yes.
So you can't, because those big boys.
That's the problem though with the walls.
Yes, but there was plenty of room.
Yeah,
there was plenty of room. Like when you were there, like they had it long ways. You could do two side by side.
Sure,
but if you're doing two side by side, let's just say we go into the semis and we use this mat. This guy's tickets now suck.
Exactly. There's going to be a logistical thing there.
They'd have to remove it.
Yeah.
And then redo the whole venue.
And I do wonder if like there would be a way if you had your ramp with the LED screens, they walk down, you have a certain alley there, and then you have the second one next to it.
Yeah.
If they could have like a quick tear down.
Well, they had the door.
Yeah, they had the door.
So they could make this mobile.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if like, okay, can we tear those angled walls off, slip the mats out, and just move floor seat or something, or like a mini, like, you know, all the gymnasiums we have.
Just cut the middle part out and just have them, like, let them have both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just merge them.
Yeah.
Super alley.
Yeah, super alley.
Well, now it'll actually be an alley.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
it's just a cube.
That'd be sweet.
Just a pit.
Yeah, so exactly. Like I'm sure there is a way you could do it.
Yeah.
As a spectator, did the pit feel like you had a better view, or well, I guess they both have stadium seating, so it like doesn't really.
The pit was totally fine for viewing.
Yes.
Like, yeah, it was totally fine. Also because they were, I don't know who they used for production as in video.
Yeah.
But it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, the feed was great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't notice ever an issue. I
wonder who they used. No, I didn't see an issue at all.
The only issue I had as far as watching it was YouTube was like you had like if you don't have what is it?
A random commercial.
Yeah, the YouTube Prime. Yeah, it'd just be like in the middle of a match and
5-second ad, and then you hit skip.
Yeah.
That
get Prime. You
I'm not paying for fucking
cheapskate.
Get out of here.
Then don't complain.
Get out of here.
How dare you? Bring that in here.
Unbelievable.
I don't know, who they used, but they did a great job because on the big screens in the middle, they had cameras on every corner.
Yeah.
So there would be times when they were stuffed in the corner where like Tackett and Joao, when in the third period when Joao was mounted on him, I couldn't, from my seat, I couldn't see, but I just looked up and they had a perfect camera angle.
Yeah.
And you could see it totally
Well, that's like the fight to win when they were doing them at the Victorium.
Oh, yeah.
In Scottsdale. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm so glad they got out of the Victorium. It was really fucking nice because like they would put a tape, like if you've been to a fight to win, right?
Yeah.
So they have like the big, elevated stage is the fucking worst way to watch sports because you're like, I can't see shit.
Yeah.
But they would also put tables on the corners, where the big fucking pole is.
Yeah.
Like,
if someone was just telling me about this, that they bought a table and it was all behind a post.
Yeah.
And
there's a camera guy. So you got the camera guy's head
with a big fucking camera.
Yeah.
But like, assuming you had a good spot, sometimes you just can't see because they're on the other side of the mat and all the actions, like maybe they're facing away.
Yeah.
They had the camera in their face and you'd look up and they have screens on.
Yeah, they have 4 TVs
all
giant,
over the place.
Giant screens.
Perfect. Yeah, and CJI actually had, this was great too, so they had the alley with the elevated walls, and then they had some elevated seats around it, like almost like bleacher style.
Yeah.
And then they had like standing circle tables, but then they had probably 70-inch TVs.
Yeah.
At the corners of the mats of the alley thing.
Yeah.
So anybody that was at the ground level or in the first few rows of the stands, like if you don't have you have an obstructive view, you could and you can't look, you don't want to do this and look straight up.
Yeah.
You had these huge TVs. You could just
awesome,
literally
man.
watch.
Yeah.
They
I don't
really
know,
thought about it a lot.
Is it part of getting older where you like really care about the venue of whatever you're going to?
Oh,
because
100%.
I'm getting there now.
100%.
Where it's like, man, this fucking tournament's at whatever venue.
Yeah.
I'm like, why don't they just do it at this venue? Because I know this. Because like with all the in-state tournaments, like Mullet Arena is the best one.
100%.
The Mullet Arena is perfect for like because everyone, especially with the kids.
Is that where the Phoenix Open was?
Nah.
No.
Phoenix Open was at Arizona
or Legacy.
Yeah,
The
but they call it something
playground.
different now.
Bell
Yeah.
Bank or
Arenas.
Legacy. I don't know. Who cares? It's the
Arizona
Legacy.
Athletic Grounds or something like that.
It's too far and it's out of way and it sucks.
The Mullet Arena is the Sun Devil hockey team stadium in Tempe.
Okay.
So it's central, right? Right off of Real Salado and whatever the hell it is, McClintock. But it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Like parking's great. You know that
That's huge,
it's all stadium seats, so you're
and
not.
I think that's the problem they run into. Like when they want to run a jiu-jitsu tournament at like anywhere with stadium seating is probably going to be too big, right? But a hockey arena for a college hockey arena is perfect.
Yeah.
Volume
It might
wise.
hold like 5,000.
Yeah,
or something
but
like
it's
that.
like so good for all the spectators and even the coaches, like because you can. Well, I mean, it's usually Jiu-Jitsu World League, so they let you actually coach on the mats with them. But like, if you didn't have to, if you couldn't do that, like just being elevated enough, you can always see something. Like that's the problem when you go to any like IBJJF tournament.
Yeah.
You're always in these like basketball courts, right? And
Yeah.
you're like trying to scoot through a crowd, and all they have is this plastic barrier. You can't see shit.
Yeah.
You can't see the score,
Right.
If
Yeah.
you're coaching in an IBJJF tournament for the most part.
that drives me crazy.
Yeah.
But you were saying that IBJJF runs the tournament better than everybody. They used to. They used to. Now they're so thin because they have so many tournaments around the world that when the F team or
So
E
the
team
only
is in
time
there.
I've done IBJJF tournament is Masters.
Oh yeah, that's their A team.
They stopped coming to
That is
Seattle.
the
The big tournaments are awesome for
Yeah.
IBJJF because they have the coaches row
Yeah.
and the TVs, and even for like the spectators, the TVs you can see.
Yeah.
You know, from the spectator's point of view, and you
Yeah.
can tell. Well, I guess they've changed that now. Is that the TV like in front of the that table, but it's just like there's been times where you're behind where like the mat coordinator is, and the TV's facing out towards the ref, so the ref can monitor the score, but like as a spectator, you can't see shit.
Can't see shit.
Right.
Yeah. So like
They stopped coming to Portland. Well, I mean, they just started coming back to Portland.
yeah.
But they stopped going to Seattle in like 2017, actually,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, the Phoenix Open, just to give you my perspective for competing there, I was on mat 3. Mat 3 was jinxed. I'm in the bullpen. Like I see my name up on the board like a little early.
You guys had a lot of confusion there.
Yeah. So I see my name a little early. I'm like, oh, cool. I get to check in, hydrate a little bit. So I checked in right away. And then I'm in the bullpen for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, so something happened. Something's going on. I'm trying to be patient. And I see this lady with the little pennies that they wear, the mat coordinators.
Oh, yeah,
The little
yeah.
vest. Has it over her arm, like the head mat coordinator. And then someone tells me, oh, yeah, our mat coordinator just quit. I'm like, what do you mean he quit? Like, he just left. And he left the penny and the clipboard on the table.
And just fucked off.
Just left.
Yeah.
Over
So,
it.
Yeah.
so we were.
I get it.
So the lady has the penny, but she's holding the clipboard for like mat 7 or something. That one's taking a piss. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then our clipboard is still on the table. So somebody had to tell her, hey, go grab the other clipboard because that mat doesn't have a fight coming up. So we're like, okay, so that's new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Like that particular tournament, the Phoenix Open was not very well run.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there were a lot of green refs, which is, hey, we need more refs,
Sure.
right? And I'm okay with people making mistakes, learning as they go.
Yeah.
But like, it's a huge dude. When you go to IBJJF, Master Worlds, that's their A team. Like that's all the best refs. Like you even know them. Like that guy's quick, you give points. That guy's a little stingy. You know what I mean? You get and that's their A team.
What's your both you guys? What's your opinions on the review? Where you'll see the refs kind of go to their earpiece, kind of like talk to the I guess they're probably the head refs who will like rewind and they'll watch a position and be like, oh yeah, that's supposed to be 2, or no, take that 2 back.
That's a tough one, man, because I fight a certain way when I'm ahead, and then I fight a certain way when I'm behind, and then I fight a certain way when I'm tied.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm behind, I'm a fucking animal. Like, I'm trying to get a takedown, I'm trying to get a quick 2, put you in a little bit of pain.
Yep.
But if I already have those 2 by accident, and I don't know why, I'm going to fight you like I'm ahead.
Yeah.
Right? And you got to come to me now.
Yeah.
Right? I'm waiting for you to be overly aggressive, and you're going to make a mistake, and I'm going to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
That's how I fight. So for them to say, oh, that 2 didn't count, okay, let's redo the whole match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period. You can't go back and say, hey, that advantage or that point, those 2 points didn't count, and now you lost the match.
Right.
That's not okay, because you fight a certain way depending on the situation that you're in. If I'm ahead by 5 and I put you in my guard, you're not coming out of that fucking guard.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and the argument for that is, like, you should always be fighting to win no matter what. And it's like,
I am.
But that's not the game.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm fighting within the rule set.
Yeah, exactly.
That's fighting to win.
I don't hate it if it's done in a timely fashion.
Yeah.
I don't really like the whole when they like the fight ends and then now they're just sitting there.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting like they're on the phone.
Yeah.
And you're just waiting. And one of the things that drives me nuts about IBJJF is that you can't even like look at a ref cross.
Yeah.
Like,
or you get penalized.
It depends on the ref.
all the way off.
Yeah.
Like, I should be able to ask you a question.
Yeah.
We're adults.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that. And almost every ref is like almost every ref, it seems like they act like there's a stick up their ass and they're better than you, and like there's this like superiority complex. And I
think the stoicism is instructed of them.
I think so too.
I think so too. Yeah.
There's a gal, she trains up in Washington. She's a black belt. You guys have guaranteed to see her. Kate, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Her husband Ty.
Yep. He's a photographer also.
Yep. I'm super cool with Ty. And
they come down and visit Paul.
Yeah, because they'll do she refs like a ton.
Yeah.
And, she's a very bubbly person, but on the mat she has so it's definitely instructed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's actually way cooler about like talking to her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I hate when some dudes are like super like, what do you just breathe on me? What the hell are you doing? And so I don't mind if the replay thing and the points adjustments are done very timely.
Yeah.
But when it starts to get into that where it can be something that was 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then they're just figuring it out. Yeah. I mean, the guy that was in 50-50 that thought he was up by an advantage or thought that sweep he got his points.
Legit.
And then you start taking those points off.
Yeah.
Well, I would have fought my ass off to get out of 50-50 if I knew that,
Yeah.
That's when I think it can be a detriment for sure.
Yeah.
But the concept I like.
I like the concept. I mean, it's where tournaments should be because there's always that like, you didn't see that. Like it's a good way to correct a mistake for a ref. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. If you're going to do that, you need to stop the match.
Yes.
Stop the match.
I agree with that.
If you need to go to the head coaches or head refs, I mean, whatever you want to call them, the instant replay guys or whatever.
Yeah.
You need to stop the match.
Yeah.
Because tactics change based off of where you are in the match like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right. 100%. And they were doing this at Pans.
Yeah.
Right. And people who probably could have won Pans lost because they thought they were up and weren't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You fight a certain way, man.
And then the other thing for me, something that I noticed is even competent refs use it as a crutch.
Yeah.
Right. So they're kind of like, not getting lazy is the wrong term. But they're just like, what do you think about that?
Bro,
instead of making the decision when they should.
Yeah.
Right. And when they're not going to stop the match, that means that guy, well, first of all, you're going to have that coach, that guy's coach yelling you, 2, where's the 2? Where's the 2? Fucking 2.
Yeah.
Everyone's yelling and he's like gonna give it. He's just waiting for the head coach or the head ref to to confirm it.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're going to use them, stop the match.
Yeah.
If you're competent, be confident.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing. It's like there were some competent refs, like the ones that we've seen a lot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that ref a lot.
Yeah.
So okay.
Fucking trust your judgment.
And one move that I really, really enjoy is when you go to ask the referee a question after the match and they act like they don't speak English. I'm like, dude, I've had conversations with you.
Yeah.
Like we've met several times. Like,
oh, dude,
he's white.
yeah. John, what are you doing?
Your name is Jonathan.
Yeah, I actually had. I did Master Worlds in 22, and
did you win it?
I got third.
Nice.
At the in the my semifinal match, I lost by an advantage, and it was crazy. A fire alarm went off in the middle of it. Were you guys there at Master Worlds 22?
Yeah, definitely was there in 22.
I skipped 22. I was there last year.
I was there for 22.
Do you remember the fire alarm going off?
No.
It was crazy.
Oh, wait. No, I do remember this. Yeah, I was there for 20. That was the year I didn't compete, but I went.
Yeah, I'm not in the building if I'm not competing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember fire alarm?
I do. I remember that.
I was in the match at that time.
No
and
kidding.
The guy I was going against literally spoke no English.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Just Brazilian guy. And I speak very few Portuguese words, but I know just a couple.
Thank
so,
you.
Like go, like bye, you know, stuff like that. So anyways, I got hosed. Everyone that's watched the match tells me I got Brazilian in that one, but it's fine. And so we're going, and he's got an advantage on me. He's got 2 points in advantage. I sweep him, so now he's up by an advantage. There's only like 30 seconds left, and I wait until my coach yelled out 15 seconds. I'm like, here it goes. Now I gotta just fucking rip it.
Yep.
And I'm grunting. Like when I really start going, I start making weird noises. It's like the Revenant, you know. It's just crazy. And yes, I'm just raping
mauling this guy.
Yeah. And I'm just going in the yellow area. We're at the yellow area, and it's all slick and stuff, and I'm trying to pass, and I don't get it. I was kind of dictating the match a lot though. And so when he raises the other guy's arm, puts him down, and he looks at me and goes, if you would have gotten an advantage, I would have given you the ref decision. I was like, why would you ever tell me that?
Why would you say that?
That hurts my penis and has now gone inside my body.
Remember that libido thing?
Yeah.
It's a medical term called HPS, hidden penis syndrome. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
You Google it.
Oh my God.
Was he saying that there was a point where you should have gotten an advantage?
I don't think so. I took it as more like, hey, good job, dude. If you would have tied it with an advantage, I would have given you the ref decision.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's such a weird thing to say.
Why would you say that?
Yeah. It was odd.
Well, I mean,
maybe he felt bad about our reset, because that's how I got hosed.
Yeah.
Was I was playing lapel, and there's something called a nubis guard, and it's where you put the lapel under, and then if you're in like a ringworm, and then you go to worm, which is the transfer of the hand.
Yep.
A lot of people stuff the foot in between the legs.
Yep.
So now you're kind of in a
odd
headquarters
position,
ish kind of thing.
But you're tied to him still.
Yeah, but you got a lapel, so you're actually not in all that bad of a spot.
Yeah.
Unless you allow yourself to get side smashed. So then I really like that setup. So then I hip escape, and I go shin to shin with my bottom leg. So now I got really good elevation power, because I can kick under his butt.
And you got the shin to shin.
Shin to shin. And you got the lapel pull behind the knee.
Yeah.
So what you do is you do like a backwards roll, and then as they go, you scoop the knee, and boom, you got under the armpit, full on knee bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go for it, and I didn't scoop. I went for like an ankle grab, and you got to grab like the knee, around the hamstring.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's a little too loose. And I do that. He scrambles, and then we scramble, and then I kind of get put in like a side smashy kind of thing, almost like I have inside Senkaku.
Yeah.
Almost, right?
Okay.
Because I did grab the knee bar, but I didn't have a grip on it. And I identify, I could get called for potentially reaping.
Yeah.
Right? So immediately I let go of that ankle, and I start going for the far knee to peel it up, and then I can dump him over in a legal inside Senkaku.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have any weight on the foot or anything like that.
Yeah.
And as I scoop that far knee, I'm going to sweep him at a minimum.
Yeah.
I got him dead to rights. He pauses us. And you can imagine, I'm on my left hip.
Yeah.
This leg is reaping essentially, and I have this here. He pulls my leg out, untriangles it, pulls my leg out, puts my foot off to the side, so I only have my kneecap at his hip. Right? He's stapled my bottom leg. He's basically passed.
Yeah. Give him the pass.
He's essentially passing me, right? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to hold on to that far leg now because I'm like, well. So I'm starting and he goes, okay, ready? Combate. And I'm like,
because he puts him in the pass.
Yeah.
Which is like the gray area in that position, just fucking loud reaping.
Right. Oh, yeah. Black, or I was a brown belt, but
brown and black.
Yeah.
Reaping is allowed.
100%.
Because it's really not that dangerous.
So
position.
dumb.
Especially because, well, it's dangerous if you can be heel hooked.
Right.
But it's not dangerous. Like that inward pressure on your knee is fine.
Yeah,
you just fall. You just fall.
That's why that Tyne and Dalpra DQ was like,
that was
bro,
horrible.
you just hammed that
I was about to be like,
so hard.
so this is another match you didn't see because you don't watch it.
I saw the highlight.
I saw the Instagram reel.
I do.
Yeah.
But 100%.
That guy was just milking that.
But that guy's a bitch. He's probably a savage motherfucker. I don't want to fight him. But he's done that before.
No, yeah, and he does that move.
Yeah.
He does that.
No
I
way.
get, like, when you look at the rules, it's a good DQ technically.
Yeah.
Like how, you know, you're putting lateral pressure on the knee, they're peeling the heel to the outer line, right? So technically, yes.
Yeah.
But it's the dumbest shit ever. What are we talking about here?
I mean, so is a good knee bar.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like wait, hold on a second. I'm putting him in a compromised position so that he has to submit.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like every submission?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even like an Aoki lock. Like, why is an Aoki lock? They're trying to make it illegal. Like that.
Well, I mean, it is a heel hook in a lot of ways.
In some ways, yes.
Yeah.
The ankle's gonna blow before the knee.
100%.
I believe.
Yeah.
And it's like that was the thing that, remember we were just talking about that the other day when we trained.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, am I a piece of shit because I went for an Aoki?
Oh no, I was like, do it.
Yeah.
It's my job to tap.
I'll roll gi and let someone heel hook. I honestly don't give a fuck about submission. Like there's no illegal submission in my opinion.
I don't.
Jumping guard, fuck you.
Yeah, you're an asshole.
Andrea almost blew my knee out. She jumped guard on me like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
She's a crazy Brazilian.
Yeah.
Or that scissor takedown. Those are the two things that
Kane Basami, yeah.
Whatever, bro.
I'm not
Japanese. Actually, I am.
bougie.
Actually, I am.
He shops.
Yeah, I'm core Japanese.
Konnichiwa.
Is that the extent?
Arigato.
He's like, I know 3 words.
I got Majide.
Majide?
You know Majide?
I don't know. No, I don't speak any Japanese.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I know like the Japanese that everyone knows.
So I'm your quarter Japanese now.
Yes, exactly.
I
take your. It's like if you submit a black belt, you're like, now it's my black belt.
I'm like a Highlander. Yep. I just cut your head off. I got your head.
There can be only one.
But you can have it.
Majide's like,
I'm not doing
really?
much with it.
Is what?
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
You ever watch Unbeatable Benzuke?
No.
Nuh-uh.
It's like a Japanese game show, like Wipeout,
where
they like torch.
Is that where they like hit people in the balls and stuff?
Yeah, all that. And like the guys are
Have
wearing,
you seen that shit? Fucking crazy.
and they dub the guys and they
Yeah.
make them say funny thing. But there was some lady that go, "Oh, Machi Day," and I was like, "Oh, that's so awesome." So Olivia and I, my wife, would say that to each other randomly, and then we have a training partner from Japan, Mai, and we were like, "Oh, what does that mean?" But it's something super awesome. She goes, "It means oh really?" And I was like,
So it means. So the way you're saying it means nothing.
Yeah.
You're using it wrong.
yeah, like for example, like
it sounds cool.
It sounds super cool.
Yeah.
So I went to UTI in 2006 or 7.
Okay.
Right there. And I was gringo.
Yeah.
With a lot of Hispanos.
Yeah.
Maybe Latinx, they call them now.
No, we don't.
I know.
We do not. I assure you.
I threw that out there because every single one of my Latinos friends say, don't call me that
Don't
shit.
fubut call me that
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
so I call them that. And, but I remember when they taught me, like, I don't know why, but it was Donde está el mundo? And they were like, I was like, what does that mean? That sounds crazy. And I felt like I heard it on like a TV show. And they're like, where is the world?
Where's the world?
Doesn't mean like make any, like, why would you say that? And I was like, I don't know, but it sounds like, kind of like Majide. Right? It sounds like
Sounds cool.
You're saying something.
Yeah, like you're saying a whole sentence.
Yeah,
in
so-
Man, you
Spanish.
speak Spanish.
Yeah.
So I would like go up to people, I go, "Donde está el mundo?" And then they'd be like,
You just said it with a Japanese accent.
I know. Yeah. You can't help yourself. You can't help yourself.
And then, So then I would just yell that in the hallways. ¿Dónde está el mundo? And then like one of the guys that would see me, one of the Mexican dudes, he'd be like, "Ayá!" And then people were just like, this guy knows Spanish.
Yeah.
So it's a good story.
Interesting.
Maji Day.
A funny story. So Tojo.
Oh.
Yeah.
So last year at Worlds.
So we've survived that so far for 107 episodes. So go ahead.
Well,
Survived what?
Tojo.
Oh.
Because technically it's, having me on the podcast at all.
Yeah.
That's what he means.
Yeah.
No, like, so Tojo, technically, it's not a slur. It's not a slur, but it's definitely like, you could probably consider it a slur. It's just like what they called all Japanese people during World War II.
Yeah.
You're Tojos.
Stereotypical, kind of derogatory.
It's like saying
way to
Charlie,
describe it.
like about Vietnam.
Exactly.
Charlie's in the woods or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Beaner, something
It's
like
like not nice, right? But it's also like not like, it's not like saying the N-word to a Japanese person.
Sure, okay, got
right?
it.
But it's not polite, right?
Right.
So my first match.
I thought that was like your last name.
No. It's just because it's like it came from high school.
Your Japanese sucks.
Yeah, it does. You can have it back.
We already went over this. We just went through his whole vocabulary.
That's true.
But my first match at Worlds last year was a guy from Japan.
Like from Japan.
Yeah,
And
like
you guys
didn't
are
even
yelling
speak English.
Tojo.
No. I stopped. When I was walking out, I talked to Paul. I tell Alex, I'm like, hey, make sure you guys call me Alex and not Tojo, because this guy is Japanese, and I don't know like how familiar. I don't know. I know in America, if you're Japanese, you know, like if someone calls you a Tojo, they're being disrespectful. I don't know if that translates. If in Japan it's the same way. So I'm like, don't call me Tojo, just to be safe. I don't need you guys disrespecting some guy for no reason, right? So I'm like, don't do it. And Paul, obviously calls me Tojo, so he in the heat of it, he slipped.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I was just like, come on, guys, you can't do it.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know your first name.
Yeah,
Alex. Yeah.
Alex and Alex.
Two Alexes in a bed.
Right. Hey, easy, easy.
That's Dad. That's Dad.
Yeah, we were at the Hub, this restaurant in. Have you ever been to the Hub?
No, is that the gay one?
Yes. Totally should. The Hub is actually really good food. It's really good bar food.
Okay.
A decent menu, right?
As far as bar food goes, yeah.
So, anyway, we're at the Hub. He doesn't have his wallet, and so I buy, right? And the lady, brings me the tab, and I'm like, yeah, it's my son's birthday. I want to do something. She's like, oh my God, happy birthday.
Do you want a shot or cake?
That is not the first time. One lady, what bar were we at?
Boulders.
Were we at Boulders?
Where they just assumed that
she assumed that you were my son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I don't give a, old.
He is old enough to be my dad.
How old are you?
37.
Yeah, I have a 36-year-old daughter.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Holla.
Yeah.
Andrew, my coach from Seattle.
Yeah.
He's only 42, 3.
Okay.
I can't remember. Because he's like basically the same age as me. He's a granddad.
I'm a granddad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to be a granddad times 2. Kendall's pregnant.
How about that?
Hey, who knew Austin is not gay?
Well, he married your daughter.
That's a ruse. What do they call that?
A beard.
A beard. Yeah.
Yes.
I have a Hawaiian friend. The guy that opens the doorknobs with his ass. He's got a beard. Actually, the Brazilian that tried jumping guard on me and almost killed me.
Yeah.
This is his beard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we get off the rules thing, because I don't want to forget, what do you think about the CJI rules when they do 3 periods?
I thought I was going to hate it.
Yeah.
I actually love it.
Okay.
I think it's great.
Because it's so because then you don't get in the whole well, was that 2? Was that 3? Should that be an advantage? You don't get into that bullshit. It's just it's very much like I think most people who are really familiar with watching jiu-jitsu know who won a match. Mm-hmm. Like when you watch a match without even counting points, you're like, yeah, he beat him.
Yeah. The open judging in between rounds, I loved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like seeing, that was a 10-8 from him.
Which is nice
10-9.
too, because you can adjust.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally.
That's what I love about wrestling.
Yeah.
That the little adjustments between periods, and they brought that into jiu-jitsu. I think it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, now, if you want to pants me after this on camera, you can.
He really wants to take his pants off.
Just take your pants off.
Yeah.
Already did. So, I think ADCC needs to get rid of the no score time.
Okay.
And I think they need to shorten. Like, let's do like trials, 6 minutes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But the preface of a no points period was you can go for whatever you want, right? You don't got to worry. You can go for that armbar. You can go for that takedown.
Without fear of losing a sweep.
Yeah, or getting pinned. Who cares, right?
It doesn't matter. I get it on paper.
Yeah.
But I think with EBI and other shows, Who's Number One and yada, yada, and plenty of ADCCs now, we have seen fighters, grapplers, whatever, don't give a shit. It is about the individual.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Tackett and Cade Rotolo can have a match under any rule set, and it's going to be awesome. But I get it.
It is, yeah.
So let's, like, you're not going to get Wagner Hoka to be a funner match in that no points period with him and Hinger just clubbing each other.
Yeah.
They're going to do that no matter what.
Yeah.
So the whole, like, 15-minute match with overtime, you know, like a 10 and then 5 more for overtime.
Yeah.
I even think, unless it's finals, probably get rid of the overtime.
Yeah.
And just do, in my opinion, I like 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I think the PGF, is that what, the Brandon McCaffrey thing, the YouTube one?
Professional Grappling Federation.
Yeah. I think they do 6s. Spider Invitational does, I think, 7s or 8s. Like, I think shorter time limit causes them to have to go.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to do like a rules trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because they're going to conserve their energy, right, from a cardio standpoint. And if they're not going to like try to like open up because there's no points in that time, they're not going to do it anyway. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you guys?
I agree. I think the time. I think you kind of hit on it right there. Is like the time limit is actually what pushes that pace.
Yeah.
Like if you have 2 high level guys and you give them 5 minutes to get to work, they know that they have to get to work.
Yeah.
But when you have a 10-minute match, like you watch IBJJF 10-minute rounds in like adult black belt.
Yeah.
Man, it's a snoozer for 8 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know. But I mean, because they're playing the chess game, right?
Right.
They're like maybe they want to work for that one advantage, and then they're gonna and maybe just get that last sweep.
Yeah.
Right
I think I agree. I agree, and I agree with the chess match. But I think that when you go from a 10-minute round in Adult Worlds to a 5-minute round in Master Worlds, the adjustment is way too big. It's such a huge adjustment. I think, like, I feel, because like I play like a slower game, I need more time.
Yeah.
Because by the time I set up my guard, right, the guard that I want to play, I'm already 3 minutes deep into this 5-minute round. And if I screw something up and I get pinned, I'm done. That's it. You know what I mean? But if I had 7 minutes, that makes more sense to do, spend 3 minutes setting up a guard.
I'm with you because my game is very similar.
Yeah.
I'm very baity and like I really like play off like strategic grips.
Yeah.
So it can be like I'm kind of just sitting on you, but I'm like working in a little sneaky grip right here. I gotcha.
Yeah.
And it'll take me 3-4 minutes to set that up, and then boom, I can get my pass or whatever it is. So I think the 5-minute thing is a little difficult, although with the 3-period thing, it felt like we had 3 matches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
In that sense, I actually like the 5 minutes, but I agree. Like if we're talking about pros, probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I think
at
would
least,
be appropriate.
At least 7.
I mean,
yeah.
and I say that like I'm just talking purely from a spectator standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, think about flow of tournament too.
Yeah.
If all those ADCC matches were only 7 minutes long, or whatever, like trials is 6 until you get to the semis, maybe semis and finals, ups, but that makes your day go so much faster.
Yeah.
And really, ultimately, what's the goal? Is the goal to find out who the best grappler in the world is? No. The goal is to make money and to get people that don't do jiu-jitsu to watch jiu-jitsu.
I thought he was going to do a whole like boats and hose thing. Right?
No, not boats and hose.
I want to make bank, bro.
But seriously, like, that's really it. Like you look at all the major sports, they really didn't start making crazy money until they got like people who don't normally go to sports events go to sports events.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll ever happen with jiu-jitsu?
Possibly. Yeah. It's doubtful, but I think it's possible. I
think you want jiu-jitsu in the Olympics?
My short answer is no. Just because even without the Olympics, jiu-jitsu is very political. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I think if you try to put in the Olympic committee and all that stuff, first of all, who are they going to pick?
And second of all, you can't call it
Henner Gracie.
Yeah. Well, and you can't.
Oh shit! I've
can't
had Henner on the show. I love you, Henner.
You can't have a sport,
I love you.
though, in the Olympics called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have to be jiu-jitsu
Just
or
jiu-jitsu.
submission grappling.
Which, I mean, when you say what you do you say Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now? I just say Jiu-Jitsu.
I don't ever say
say-
jiu-jitsu.
I don't ever. I just say jiu-jitsu.
You say
Yeah.
jits?
No.
Nah, I just feel weird even hearing.
You know what? I think
I have a girlfriend.
Steven, beep that out.
Sometimes I would say jits, like just because I'm saying something fast.
Yeah.
But then I would see it online so much, like no real jiu-jitsu guy says jits. I'm like, damn, now I can't say it.
I'll say jitsu sometimes.
You
Yeah,
can't
it's
say it.
just-
You can't say it because Elliot11357 on YouTube
Yeah.
said you can't.
Boner Patrol 1977.
Hey, this is an AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah. Gosh, and like that guy's in my head.
Yeah,
But going back to the time limit thing, from an athlete's perspective, man, how many times are you like, I just needed 1 more minute or
Yeah.
30 more seconds?
sure. Yeah.
Like I always feel like,
Or-
it really depends on how well you prepared, because sometimes
Yeah.
you're like, can we have a 2-minute match?
Yeah,
Bro.
That's me every night at Aries.
Dude,
I'm like, hey, can we shorten these freaking rounds,
I
bro?
know,
And
right?
Paul's
I
like,
hate
it was
that.
3 minutes. Come on.
Last year at Master Worlds, after my first match, I'm like, if I have to go right now, I'm fucked. I had no grips,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to like not to let people see me, doing this to my forearms.
Put
I'm
on
like,
a brave face.
I have no grips, and I'm like, yeah, just jump around or something, and look mean, okay?
Yeah.
Look mean.
Yeah.
I can't fucking see, but I'll just look mean. But thank God I was in the bullpen for like 45 minutes. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Those
And I was like,
those
okay, I'm back.
qualifier rounds
I'm back.
at Worlds or Pans or
Yeah.
whatever, man, you are waiting an hour.
I was eating
Yeah.
like pineapple and stuff like that. I was
Nice.
just like trying to live, and I accidentally wore this like compression knee sleeve because I had just a little like a lateral, like LCL kind of like soreness.
Yeah.
So I wore this, like a compression thing, right? But I grabbed the wrong one, so like I my legs are kind of bigger, and for like my height, and so it literally was cutting off all the circulation. So in the first match, my leg was like, it felt like I had no blood in it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, that heavy, like
Oh, yeah.
tingly.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to compete. This is like,
Yeah.
it literally felt like death. So I ripped it off. And, but thankfully there was like 40 minutes.
Thank
and
God, yeah.
I was like eating all
Let
the-
your knee or your leg recover.
I was rubbing pineapple on it. It was
Yeah.
weird.
They need to do something. We've talked about this a lot, man. They need to do something about that bullpen. It's so disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
brutal.
so gross, man.
Yeah.
Just shit thrown everywhere. And
Yeah,
Spe-
like
oh,
literal.
God.
poop.
By the end of
bottles.
people are literally shitting
Just
in the corner.
shitting in a corner.
We gotta have a corner.
Put a bucket in there. Let us shit in a bucket at least.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh my
the
God.
holding pen at like on a drunk Saturday.
Drunk tank.
Yeah, drunk tank. Yeah.
So with the rules thing, I also did like something with the ADCC rules. Is now the CGI rules were kind of. I don't think they explained them well enough. So like they need to kind of improve on that.
Yeah.
With ADCC, I did a podcast last week with Chris Wojcik. He got 4th this year, and I asked
Name
him. I mean,
drop.
I'm not saying it's a big deal, but I mean, you name dropped Henner.
You brought him up.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Send me a sweatshirt, Henner. Or a neck pillow or
The
something.
neck pillow thing.
Yeah.
I'm down.
He's done with the sweatshirts. So I brought up to him, I was like, what do you think like about this takedown rule? Because
I was gonna get there too.
I hate it.
Yes. me
Because
Explain. I don't know.
well, so I asked him to confirm with me
Yeah.
from what my understanding is let's say I get a mat return. I lift you up and I slam your ass down. And then as soon as you get down, maybe you're on like your side and I'm kind of at your like
Oh, I see.
behind
Yes.
you
Yes,
almost.
yes.
I'm not mounted. I don't got your back. We're in this. It's essentially side control, but then you turtle, and now you're just in a tight turtle, and I'm in side ride kind of thing, like kind of thing, and I don't get points. And I'm like, is that correct? And he's like, yeah, you wouldn't get points if the person just sat there. How? Explain that to
I
me.
put your
How is
ass
that-
on the ground.
How is that not a takedown?
The fight is standing, and now it's on the ground.
Yeah.
For it to be points, from at least how he explained it to me, was I'm going to have to get them down and either bellied out or on their back, not on their side.
Yeah.
Or not turtled. And 75% of their back has to be on the mat. Mm-hmm. So if they're in that kind of weird position where you're like, you got a trap grip and you're like blocking the hip and they're like stiff arming you and they're like peeling, you're like almost getting their shoulders down. Maybe
they're like trying to shrimp out.
Yeah. And there's like this kind of odd thing going on. And I could hold that for 30 seconds. It's no points.
Yeah.
Until he flattens out.
Yeah. And then it turns into a neutral position and the takedown is now null and void.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate that. I hate that, like, they're making these weird distinctions on what qualifies.
75%?
Your butt hits the ground, it's a takedown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your knees.
Yes.
Like
I think that would I think that would be a big improvement, because I think what's going on right now is people are like, okay, you get penalized for pulling guard.
I was going to say, be an adult, pull guard.
Well, I'm just saying, you get penalized for pulling guard, right? And people are saying, oh, people are just going to go after the after the legs, and it kind of gives them the advantage, all that stuff. Well, if you change that rule and say that if you're any part of your back, your butt, your back, your head bounces off the mat, that's a takedown. That would I think that would improve the action a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because all you have to do is get to your knees, right?
Well, that's IBJJF, right? If you get to your knees, like I learned that the hard way, is I didn't realize that I was like tripoded. The guy was at like my hips.
Yeah.
And I was like debating, okay, rolling knee bar, like what am I gonna do here? Am I gonna try to throw him? And he kind of cracked me down to my knees. So now it was kind of like was that a 4-point in wrestling or whatever? Yeah. And I don't know, they got 2. And I was like, what the hell? I'm just chilling.
Yeah.
And then my coach, he was like, yeah, you went to your knees, you idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. But yeah.
One thing, 3 different times, Phoenix Open. Okay. I'm going to give you the scenario. Mm-hmm. Half guard, knee shield, right? Mm-hmm. Person on bottom goes, grabs a kimura, tries to turn it, gets a guard pass. Person gets the arm out of the kimura. What is that?
So
the guy on bottom gets his guard passed attempting.
While the guy, the top guy was going for the kimura?
No, bottom guy goes for the kimura, right?
Top guy goes past the knee shield.
Past the knee shield, and he gets his arm out.
It shouldn't be a pass point.
Why not?
Not shouldn't, but isn't, because of the rule set.
But I don't understand that one.
Because the only reason the logic is the only reason you ended up in the position afterwards is because of the submission.
Okay.
So
I don't think it's right. In that particular instance, I don't think it's right.
Is the guy in side control when he lets go of the kimura?
Yeah, he's
so
passed.
That's not pass points?
No, I saw it 3 different times. I was like, how is that not a pass? If you have if I have you in a guillotine, you push the leg down, you get the side control. The second your head pops out, what is that? It's a guard pass.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's the exact same same scenario.
Well, the problem is the guy's initiating the guard pass before the submission.
Okay, but what about ankle locks? If I'm sitting there, I'm in your open guard, I grab that ankle, I fall back, I go single leg X, right? I don't even go single leg X. I just try to rip on that ankle, I fall back, I try to go single leg X, but my heel slips, and then you just come up. That's 2.
I just want to throw this out here, guys. I am not an IBJJF. This is based off of my understanding.
That's 2
so
points.
You're talking about say you said playing Delhi Hiva.
Right. I'll do it to you right now.
All right, let's do it. and
you're playing.
And instead of passing the guard, because passing the guard's hard,
yeah.
I'm going to attack your legs.
Yeah.
Okay, so you fall back on the ankle, you come up.
And you come up with me. Mm-hmm. You got your foot flat on the mat. Obviously, the ankle lock's dead.
Yeah.
And now I have to abandon it. They're going to give you 2 points for
100%.
a sweep.
Yep. So what's the difference?
80%.
Did I just hear a 9er?
Were you on a walkie-talkie?
Yes.
Hold on. Let me go to my earpiece.
Unit 92. Need my assistance.
God. I just watched that yesterday.
Did you?
That was Super Troopers?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can't believe you got that.
Fucking loved it, dude.
That's
I
amazing.
love that movie, dude. Yeah.
We're
Tommy
talking
Boy.
about jiu-jitsu. Fuck off.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all
Squirrel brain. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the thing I don't get is like that's a great point. Is why does the initiation I get initiation should matter, but not in that scenario with the submission. If you go for an closed guard armbar, I shuck you off and I pass off that. Mm-hmm. should be a pass.
It is a pass.
Well, I think
absolutely.
I think the logic behind the Kimura version, the Kimura thing, is that the only way that you're really escaping a Kimura is by passing. So you're like, oh, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do to get out of a Kimura. But like,
I don't know,
right? Because you're not like it makes a little more sense if you're passing, you get in the guillotine, you don't get your points until you get out of the guillotine. Because you initiated the pass before the attack. They attacked you as a defense to your pass, as opposed to you passed as a defense to their submission.
Yeah, maybe.
But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do I know?
Sounds like communism.
Yeah. And I also the advantage for a double guard pull just because you stood up.
Oh yeah.
What about
come on now,
throwing up after the clock?
After?
DQ. I can't find the fucker. I read the rule book that day.
Yeah.
And I could not find it. But it does talk about. It doesn't even talk about throwing up.
Yeah.
But you can't throw up on the mats. That's gross.
It's like expelling something or whatever.
Yeah.
Did you puke?
I think they counted as a verb. No. One of our guys, his opponent threw up right as time went off. He not even off the mats, just over to a different mat and threw up.
He took 2 steps to the right, kapow, on the mats, and then he came back to get his arm raised. I'm like, first of all, fucking gross.
Yeah.
Second,
and then he just fucked off.
Yeah, he just fucked off.
I would be like, towels, I'll clean up my mess.
Yeah.
And by the way, he had no shoes on when he fucked off.
Yeah.
Of course.
Fucking gross.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a trait with this one.
Yeah.
Dude.
He's gross.
Point him out next time so I don't roll with him.
Yeah.
God, man.
You won't. He's huge.
He's gigantic.
I wouldn't roll with him then.
Yeah, you'd be like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Vin's not a small dude, and he looked little.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, he looked little.
You know Vin, right?
I think so.
Black belt from the morning. Yeah. He comes to the evenings every once in a while.
I make business decisions with big boys.
Yeah?
And I'm just like, I got some in me sometimes, but a lot of the time I'm just like, I just don't.
Do you ever do the open when you compete?
No, I want to, but I haven't.
I always get
qualified
every once in a while.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I've never got on the podium, actually. Thanks for bringing it up.
I never had to cross that road.
Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I get my wild hair every once in a while, but I feel like every single time I do it, I always end up with a super or an ultra.
Yeah.
As a featherweight,
yeah.
I'm like, bro.
I did one in Houston with my second round was a super heavy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm just going to go after him.
Yeah.
So I did like a quick pull, De La Hiva. I kind of like boloed my version of it, old person bolo. But I lifted him up and I put him on his back. And I'm in like flat half and I'm fucking working this guy, right? And gosh, something else. I think I may have passed this guard and then he recovered, but we're still in that flat half kind of thing. And at the very end, he got a sweep, but I still won by a point. And he no more than that. Anyway, but he got a sweep at the end. And he goes to the ref and complains about me stalling on top. I'm like, you're the super heavy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, no,
Push
you can't.
me off.
You can't.
Stand up.
Yeah, just grab me and throw me into the stands.
I think we're in a weird spot because we're middleweights.
Yeah.
And we're not necessarily small.
Right.
But we're not big.
We're not big.
And
we are not big.
Yeah. And my style is like, I'm not like a brute guy. I'm flexible and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of do well with the big guys because I can get underneath them pretty easily, but I have like the strength
where you don't get smashed.
Yeah, to maintain like frames pretty well.
Yeah,
and then on passing, I'm a little bit more, especially for my age. I'm more athletic than most, especially the big guys.
That's the only reason he wins.
What?
You're just kind of athletic.
You're just
Shut
athletic.
up.
Yeah, he mauled these fucking out of shape old men the other weekend.
Okay.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah. I will tell you this. When I compete,
that was heavyweight too.
Yeah,
right?
I was heavyweight.
I had a kid.
I will tell you this. When I compete, I feel very athletic.
when
I watch the video, it's like, what the fuck is
it's the most depressing thing. I have a buddy.
So you've watched my video.
When I watch Alex, bro, I show my family.
Yeah. Look how red his face is.
Grandma, you could do this too. Look.
But if you look at the podium, they're all bruised. Their faces are all fucking bruised.
We're all fucked up.
I'm like, look at these old men with their old man skin.
They bruise easily. Yeah. Like you grab them. Got liver spots on your hands. The Moscow guy that I was telling you about, he just sent me a video. It was the IBJJF like records a whole mat, like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And because he did the Portland Open like a year ago or something, and he had just sent me his mat, and he goes, look at hour 50 to 2 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's his match.
Yeah.
You see me in the background coaching.
Yeah.
And he's like, do I look like this in the gym?
As a matter of fact,
he
you
was
do.
baffled by how he's like, I feel like I would whoop this guy's ass.
Yeah.
And he's like, am I just like scared to pull the trigger? And I was like, well, I mean, there is that, right? In competition, you get a little freaked out about like just go for it rather than the gym.
Yeah.
But I was like, also, we're used to watching pros, which look a certain way. Hoffa Mendez, you're like, that guy's graceful.
Yeah.
And we are not that.
Right.
So when you do get to watch yourself, that's how you look.
Yeah, that's how you look.
I very much take this into consideration on how I do anything when I'm at a tournament, because I have seen the picture, like we were talking about earlier about like looking at old pictures. That's what I thought you were talking about, not like big group pictures.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, man, I've seen like old videos will show up of like tournaments, and I'm like, God, you just look like a fucking idiot.
Spazzy.
Yeah. One of my first tournaments as a white belt was at the Vegas Open when they used to have the Vegas Open.
Those were so much fun.
Oh, they were great because they were one day, and then you go fucking get
hammered,
right? But like, so this first kid that I fight, the first match, he comes up to me, or not like comes up to me, but like the match combate. He gets into this karate stance, like literally like karate hands.
Heck yeah!
And I mauled this kid, but it's like I don't ever want to look like that. You know what I mean? I don't ever want to have a picture of me at a jiu-jitsu tournament and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to look like I know what I'm doing, even if I got beat.
I competed at brown belt against a guy that he has several black belts, different black belts. None of them, anyway, striking arts, right? Mm-hmm. And he also does jiu-jitsu. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. And he's in my close guard, and he tripods up, and he grabs my collars, and he starts to choke me with them. And I'm sitting there going...
Effective.
I was just thinking, like, people are watching. Like, I have to submit this guy now. Like, I cannot be part of this.
For the honor of jiu-jitsu.
Yes, I cannot be part of this. And I just exploded on him. I was like, nope. Like, I would rather die than be in this video right now. So.
Did you, have you guys, now, we're in the trust tree.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just us.
We're in the trust tree.
Just a couple girls talking.
That's all it is. Yeah. So, because you were talking about, like, I just want to, like, look like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever, because I admit I had done this, especially in the last probably couple weeks, is I would, like, because I was the same thing. I was like, gosh, I didn't wrestle. I didn't know, like, stand-ups stuff, right? And I was like, I want to look like the pros. Like when they walk up and they're all low. I remember like Cobrinha and stuff, and they look so
butts
cool.
low, back straight,
and like stuff like that. And because I was a guard puller, and I would practice in the mirror. And I would put my gi on, and I'd be like, okay,
gi and everything.
Come on, son. I'm an absolute professional. I'm an Andrew Solheim black belt.
I gotcha.
And I would practice my like your tight knees and like. And I'd like get into it, and sometimes I'd like slap my hands.
Nice.
No, I have pretty good proprioception. I don't need to worry about the mirror.
What did you just say?
Wow.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend.
Is her name proprioception? What is that
body
word?
awareness.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
so like,
why don't you just say body awareness?
Because it's
same
words.
amount of syllables.
Look at the big brain on Brad. Okay, so you feel like you could just practice on your own.
Well, when I look like an idiot, I'm like, oh, look at him with his shoulders rounded forward and everything. He looks like he doesn't know what he's doing or he's nervous. I'm like, all right, so I just need to sit up straight.
Yeah.
And then then you bend at the hips.
And you did this?
Yeah, do like this.
So you never practiced on your own?
No, not in the mirror.
No.
That's just you.
What? No mirror.
I don't think anybody has ever done that. That's just
bullshit.
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
I guarantee there's someone listening.
But the 12 listeners that we have?
Yes.
I have done the whole like the really cliche like, look, I'm triangling my dog.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I still do that. To be honest. I got 2 golds. They got to get put in check.
Yeah, but you don't have to post it. You don't have to put it on the internet.
Oh, that's true. I don't do that because I put a video up
as
once.
A photographer or a videographer.
Yes.
You can't.
Well, So my wife got a little upset at me once because
you gotta stay on the hotness. That's why. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I had Frank, one of my Goldens, right there, and he just loves the pets, right? Of course, he's a very touchy, and I was doing this to him, and I was like rubbing his face like this
with your feet.
Yeah, and I was like, I could comb because I got good proprioception with my feet, and I was like rubbing his face.
That would be dexterity.
Oh yeah, I was pulling his eyes back like this, and I was recording it with my
and he's
cell
just
phone.
loving it.
And I had the cell phone like right here, just watching it, and I put that on Instagram.
You should have put that on OnlyFans.
I could have.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, by the way, censor that.
Steve,
Big black bar.
Steven.
But my wife
blur it,
saw
whatever. I don't
that
care.
and was like, "What's wrong with you?" I gotta know.
Wait,
What's
she
wrong?
doesn't have a list of things that are wrong?
Oh no, yeah, she's.
I pet my dogs with my feet all the time.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I mean,
But you don't record it.
Yeah,
No,
That's what made it a little weird.
I'm all
maybe.
like,
I thought it was cute, so I just thought it was good. So
and he was having a good time.
I was loving it. Oh my God.
He's like, I'm being touched. I don't care what you're touching me with.
Yeah. So I usually say when people ask like what's wrong with you, is like, as I said, something happened in elementary school that I don't really talk about.
Yeah. We're not going to get into it.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
We're not going to get into
Why you
it.
got to bring up old shit?
We went over the takedown thing. What is your opinion on the guard pull penalty in ADCC?
So when they pull guard, they get a negative.
Yeah. Jake Watson is wrong, by the way, on this one.
What's his opinion?
He likes it. He's like learn to wrestle.
Learn to wrestle. That's a good.
It's
that's
not
good advice.
because we're not wrestling.
Okay.
It's a jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah. No. It's a grappling match.
Actually, we're combating
We're combating.
because it's ADCC.
Gombaching.
But in general, it's a jiu-jitsu match. So, but either way,
It's a grappling match.
my big we talked about this on that podcast, but my biggest like qualm about it is you get two guys who don't know how to wrestle trying to wrestle because they don't want to take the negative point.
Yes.
And then it ends up being even more boring.
And jiu-jitsu wrestling is the worst thing on the earth.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sometimes
Absolutely.
it can be just
Sometimes it is. There's guys who know how to wrestle for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I typically fall and try to grab your leg. That's my shot.
Yeah.
It's not penetrating step, lower
Yeah.
the level. I just fall and try to grab your
Yeah.
leg.
Yeah.
You and Paul are tenacious on trying to get my lead leg. I noticed. I was like, you guys will
Tenacious,
not
huh?
stop. Yeah, you're rubbing off on me.
Hey.
Whoa.
Not yet.
Whoa.
Tojo.
Whoa.
The
He likes feet.
I don't hate it so I'm at heart a guard puller. I consider myself a bit of a judoka now. But at my soul, I am still a guard puller. And so I don't hate it, but I don't think it should be there.
Yeah.
How about sitting on the fence like that?
Yeah.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Boring.
Yeah, it's
Censor that.
Take a stand.
it's because
Take a stand.
Be a man.
I get why, but at the same time, I think like we're doing jiu-jitsu. Like it's the same as the Levi and Cade thing.
Yeah.
If you are gonna what if he
Can we get to the jiu-jitsu part? You know, it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
and the workaround is I'm gonna do a shitty shot on you,
yeah.
and then I'm gonna sit to my butt. That's the Mo Jassim, the ADCC organizer, talks about it. He's like, you guard pullers, all you got to do is do the crappiest low single at the ankle, and then just sit to your butt, and now it's illegal.
Well, when the guy
I can do a tutorial on that. Like a shitty low single.
If that's your response,
Make
then
money.
just allow guard pulling.
Yes.
That's just guard pulling with extra steps.
Exactly.
And it's stupid. It defeats the purpose. in my
Yeah,
opinion.
and I think like if you're a wrestler, I assume that's why you want to be standing.
Yeah.
This is why I thought Cade was kind of I like Cade and Rutolos, but I thought his like bitching about Levi and the pulling or the guard stuff was kind of silly. Is if you're trying to wrestle him to get him down
to the jiu-jitsu part.
you want top position.
Yeah.
Right? Like
He's giving you that.
he's giving you what you want.
Yeah.
The only reason you're pissy about it is because you can't pass his damn guard.
Yeah.
And you hope that when you take him down, you land in side control or something, some sort of advantageous position.
Yeah. Or in another scenario, you're getting points. And then you're 2 points, and then it's nothing else for the rest of the
Do you
match.
guys feel that Cade was exposed in that match?
Yes. I very much
For
do.
his guard?
Yeah. His ability to pass guard.
Strategically, right? Do you think he's exposed?
I don't.
Well,
I think the rule set comes into play.
Now that I think about it, I think you were right too, a little bit there too, because like Levi was ready to pass his guard.
Yeah.
Like quickly.
I will say Lachlan has said. Now I don't know if this is a promotion of his submeta IO thing because Levi has a leg drag passing tutorial thing on there. Is Lachlan has said that his like leg drags passing is some of the best he's ever felt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take that for what it is.
Yeah.
But
I like Levi a lot, and I like Lachlan Giles, or respect Lachlan Giles a lot.
And I don't. I feel like he wouldn't just say that as a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
I feel like he probably means it.
That's what I mean. Like he's not shilly.
Yeah, and so I think there is a chance that if you can put Cade on his back, if there's a chink in that armor, that might be it for sure.
Yeah.
From the passing thing, I don't quite think that as much, just because I think we just saw maybe the best guard player in Noki Jiu-Jitsu.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I love that.
I think Levi has gone to the next level.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not a robust game, like let's say who's a good Nogi guard player?
I changed my mind.
Like a Nicky Ryan or
He
something
exposed
like
his
that.
guard,
Yeah.
not his guard passing.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah.
As like, okay, if I put Cade on his back
Yeah.
somehow.
He's less equipped.
Yeah, somehow.
that
I mean,
situation.
I don't, that's going to be a challenge in itself.
You just push him.
Well, true. And then,
and then you have your buddy sit behind him. In turtle.
Yep.
Have you ever seen this? Because, for example, Jason Nolf couldn't get Ty down and hold him,
Yep.
right? So that kind of speaks volumes to, like you said, like some jiu-jitsu guys do have good wrestling, and it's like that they think they do. And they have you can see the Atos influence, which is that palming the head, shoulder strikes, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How about when Cade just threw that 3-piece in a soda at the one guy? It was right in the beginning. Oh, on Mateus Deniz. Did you see that?
I saw the whole thing. Yeah.
Mateus, like I think it was like he did like a cheeky foot sweep that was like a leg kick, and Cade threw literally 3 strikes at him.
No shit.
Oh yeah, Steven, pipe that clip in. It was amazing. Like it was like literally 3 hooks.
Yeah.
Like and then they break them. They're like,
can you chill?
What? The fuck
This
was
isn't
that?
MMA.
Yeah. And you see Mateus, he's just like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you kind of started it.
The whole the whole the clubbing thing is so stupid to me.
Oh, I hate it.
It's so cringe because
show me high-level world-class wrestlers that will club you 40 times in a match.
Right.
They club,
No.
shoot.
Yep.
Club, and then circle, or whatever. You know,
but it's not like the clubbing that I'm talking about is the one that can be confused as a strike.
Yes.
Because that's not how you get that.
Yeah.
You're not like whack. That's not how you're supposed to.
It's not
tie.
a palm strike.
Yeah.
It's
Watch Michael Pixley. He's a perfect example. He
Yeah.
won 2 national championships without taking a single shot.
Wow.
He's all collar ties, slide bys, foot sweeps, and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
When he collar ties you, it is not this huge freaking
Whack. Yeah.
whack. Yeah. It's slick, it's smooth. If you watch him against Marigali, when he does a Harai Goshi on him, not the Uchimata that broke his arm,
Yeah.
but the Harai, where the first one where he's like literally flicks his feet.
Hey, he
above
does know
his-
Japanese.
He
Actually,
does know Japanese.
He knows a lot of Japanese.
He knows
honestly.
at least 5 words.
O Goshi. Ko-uchi. That means small.
Gotcha.
I don't think it does.
Ko, small.
Oh, okay.
You son of a gun.
He doesn't know.
Yeah, I know, he doesn't
You can
know.
tell him anything.
Duolingo. So when you watch that match with Marigali on that first Harai, he actually baits him.
Yeah.
And because Marigali has the collar tie, so then Pixley, he doesn't slam on a big over tie.
Yeah.
He just kind of puts it up there, little limp fingers on the far side of the neck.
Yeah.
Because he's promoting Marigali to dig a deep under.
Yeah.
And as soon as he does it, whizzer kick, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
Harai Goshi and Judo, but goes whizzer, and then boom, tosses him. But the point was when he's doing these techniques that we see a lot of these other guys, like, for example, Wagner. I hated this dude so bad for the last few years. Like, one, there's the whole fight sports thing, which was pretty icky. And I know he didn't have as much of a play in it than Cyborg. Sure. I'll never cheer for that guy. Yeah. But Wagner had a little something in there. So I've always hated him. And then I hated his cheekiness and caginess and unnecessary bullshit.
Yeah. Like the non sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And like, and just smiling after he's like palming you in the shoulders for no reason or in the forehead. And it's just like, your shit's boring, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All credit. He's 40-something years old, getting second at ADCC. I don't care how much steroids or whatever. It's good on you, dude. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I will also say this. So we were there with 30 people from our gym, and we run across him in the casino after the finals.
Did you fight him?
Sweetest dude.
Oh, is he really?
I kissed him.
Oh,
we have a photo with the Moscow guy. He rips his shirt off. He's not built like an Adonis. He's not on TRT.
Yeah.
Or he is, and you can't tell.
Right.
And
it's wasted.
Yes. It's going straight to his asshole.
You're still supposed to lift.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't inject it there.
Yeah.
And so we have all these people, and then there's one Russian with his shirt off. The guy, Wagner, was so nice.
That's
cool.
He
was so freaking nice.
That's cool.
He was joking around with everybody, took the time to talk to everybody for 15 minutes.
That's cool, man.
Gosh, he's trying to work his way into my heart.
Yeah.
But
it is icky though.
Now I'm in a weird spot.
I think a lot of what Wagner does is playing the mind game.
Yes. And I totally get it. And I appreciate the caginess. I appreciate the he smiles when you almost get him or something. Yeah. Like the part of it I like. But part of it I think is just
I do that at, even in a tournament just because I think jiu-jitsu's fun.
Yeah. Oh, I make jokes and I smile and
if someone sweeps me, I'm like, fuck, that was awesome. Good on you. Yeah.
I was in a local tournament, purple belt. Oh gosh, who was I fighting? Super strong dude. It was like the days that I was doing 168.
Oh, you went with me, yeah.
Nah, not you. What? Yeah, you're too big. You're one of the big guys.
You were 230.
But dude passes my guard late in the match. Passes my guard. And he's like, and he gets side control, and he's like, "Oh man, finally!" I'm like, "I'm up, dude. I'll stay here all day." And then he tried to go knee on belly, and I recovered my guard
at nationals this year. So I was in. So the guy swept me. I'm in. He's in my guard, right? Yeah, right. So he's in my guard, right? And so I'm playing, and we're getting towards the end of the match. We're like the last minute, and I hear his coach yell at him. He's like, "All right, he's about to get desperate." And I look at him in the eyes, and I'm like, mm-mm. And he's like, "Sorry."
Yeah, that's just like Mako at Fight to Win when he yells, "He's getting tired," and I just smile. And I was like, "I'm not getting tired.
I'm not tired, bro." Yeah. It's just funny, and it's like the kind of stuff that you kind of catch yourself saying "Oh, he's tired," and maybe he's not, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. You're kind of trying to be supportive of your athlete,
of course, yeah.
But it is we kind of forget a lot of times we're kind of disrespecting the other guy.
Yeah,
it would
have been funny if he was like, "He's getting desperate," and then you just start acting desperate. Please don't do that. Oh my gosh. As you're not moving.
Yeah.
And then you just dead.
Just start flailing.
Yeah. I'm not desperate.
I'm not desperate.
There was that.
They would maybe DQ you though.
Yeah.
You're not even in my league.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever taken it to somebody because their coach says something?
I've never had the ability to.
Okay.
I've taken it to a training partner because my podcast partner, Chris, was coaching against me in the ring.
Was he really?
He does it all the time. He always tries to coach against me and get me subbed as much as possible.
Oh, that's so funny.
And when he does it, I will then turn it up.
Yeah.
Even if it's a blue belt.
Right. Yeah.
He'll be like, "All right, don't let him put that hook in. Don't let him get that grip." I'm like, "I'm going to wrist lock him now." That's it.
You did this. You did this.
The best performance I ever had at a tournament was a tournament that I was a white belt. Not the best performance at a tournament, but when I was a white belt, this was when I finally figured out how to win a tournament, right?
Yeah.
It just happened to be at the time when my ex-girlfriend was there with her new boyfriend.
Oh, no.
And I went through my entire bracket, submitted every single person.
Wow.
And just was just like... I felt cool.
Yeah.
Felt really cool.
Yeah,
you did.
I did, gosh, it might have been 22 Master Worlds, because maybe 23. Anyway, passed this guy's guard. I think I mounted. No, I wasn't quite that far. I know I passed his guard or whatever, but his coach yelled, I think he may have recovered. Maybe we're in half guard. And his coach yelled, "He's just going to stall." And all I thought was like, you did this to him. And I was up 12-0 by the end of the match, and I was going for a submission. Yeah. And I was like, you did this to him.
Yeah.
I was going to be cool.
Was I stalling when I got the 12?
Yep.
I just wanted to destroy something beautiful.
I got pissed. I got a little pissed when he said that. So
I bet.
Just going to stall.
I don't think I have.
Well, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
It still made me mad.
But it's still going to, like, get out of my head, asshole. I feel like I haven't had many coaches like say stuff like what we have is called the Rev. It's like the big tournament up in Seattle.
Yeah.
I think probably like, is it BJJ or something that's down here?
Yeah. BJJL. Yeah.
It's like a local term, but it's pretty good size.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah.
So that's like what we have up there. It's called the Rev, and it's I swear for like especially the like masters black belts, the community is just it's like tight knit.
Yeah.
So
we all know each other. Same with Arizona.
Yeah. Okay.
The bullpen's a big bullshit session.
Yeah. And I remember I was walking out there was Gil, the guy I was going to go against. And he cross trains a lot of Isla Jiu-Jitsu, and where Marvin's actually been a bunch. And then me and Gil, the guy that was coaching him, Jeff Montanange, he, as we're walking out, he's like, "I love both you guys. It's all good." He's just yelling that. And Gil and I are like, we're serious for a second. We're like, okay, fuck it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're friends.
Yeah, we're just gonna have a good time.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny.
Stuff like that is kind of cool.
Remember when Mike Kaplan was coaching for a while?
Yeah.
Mike kaplan is a black belt out of
UFC fighter.
No.
Kaplan
sounds like a UFC fighter.
No, just stoner.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kaplan's the guy. The dude I'm thinking of he's on the Ultimate Fighter, and the guy wrestler guy. He went into wrestling. Tom Lawler.
I'm glad we were going to talk about Michael Kaplan, but now we're not.
No, we will. We will. But he's the guy on Tough that was like, I can't get knocked out, and he was all drunk, and he had in the bathroom, and he told Tom Lawler, which is like a middle heavy or something, and this guy's like a lightweight. And he's like, you can't. No, nobody can knock me out. And he was drunk. He's like, just punch me. And he's like, I'm not going to punch you. And he's like, fuck you and punch me or something like that. And then Tom just lays his ass out cold, like dead body.
Was it like stiff?
Like, no, he's just a limp.
Oh, okay.
His legs were all crooked. He fell on some laundry.
It's like, now you got to get this man to a hospital.
Yeah. And then Tom was just like, oh, dude. Are you joking? Are you joking? And then they showed, when they interview him after, like the little talking head pieces.
Yeah.
He was just like, I mean, he got me, but I wasn't like knocked out. So that's not the same Kaplan.
No, different Kaplan.
Okay.
So I'm always thinking like ways like to, just improve and just trying different methods,
Yeah.
So I asked him, I was like, Cap, do me a favor. I said, next time you see me roll in the academy, I want you to coach against me just so I can hear like where the gaps are and I can play. So Kaplan, I can't remember who I was rolling with, but he's coaching and he said the guy's name. He's like, "Hey, you're getting beat by a lesser grappler." And I was like, "Hey, man." He goes, "I don't know what to say."
Just hurts your feelings.
Oh my God, it was so funny. You said to coach against you.
You're losing against a guy with a bad hairline.
Yeah,
that's what coaching should be. Just putting the other guy down.
Have you seen this guy with his shirt on?
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's all doughy. That's horrible. I have a question for you guys. Do you guys ever have, especially like you progressed quickly through the belts, did you progress quickly or like normal?
About 9 years.
Yeah, he took a break. He took a break.
I didn't ever really take a break. When I was a blue belt, I just was like once a week.
He took a break.
Yeah.
So, but I think it applies to you as well. Is I still to this day, and I really had a lot coming through, is imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, always.
100%.
And like even now, like,
well, you should.
Yeah. You cheeky devil. And I'll go home and cry like a man in the car before I see my wife, of course.
Yeah.
And like where I'll even like there's times where I'll even be in my car before I go into the gym, and I'll be like, what am I doing?
Open mats.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like that for open mats.
Because they're unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Especially when you visit schools, like as a black belt, everyone wants to knock your fucking head off. I think there's something like I've kind of been like thinking about a lot lately, is because like coming up to Worlds, man, I'll teach and sometimes get most of the rolls in the morning. It kind of depends. Like if it's an even number of people, I'm obviously not going to be like, hey, you have to sit out. I'm not doing that in the morning. But if it's odd, I'm fucking rolling in the morning, right? And then I'm going to lift and do cardio in the middle of the day, and then I'm doing the evening class. And you know the evening class at Paul's, right?
Yeah. That's brutal.
You're going through it, right? So I'm doing that 3 times a day, 3 days a week. Then I'm on Wednesdays. I do I'll still like do cardio, and then I'll go to his class. And then Fridays I'm doing, I'm lifting, doing the morning class, and going to his school. Like that's like basically 3 training sessions in that day, right?
Yeah.
You got to remember that like at the end of that week, you can roll with somebody and like you're not 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's that, and then there's also like there's weight divisions and belt divisions and age divisions for a reason.
Yeah.
So like when you're like Kevin Carrasco.
Jesus.
He's light feather, right? He's smaller than me. He's definitely smaller than you.
Yeah.
Right?
Easy.
I roll with Kevin, and I'm pretty fucking lost.
Yeah.
Because he's an adult light feather black belt.
We shook hands. He kicked my foot out from under me, and I fell on my ass.
Yeah.
That's how it went.
Right?
Yeah. That's how it started.
But, people need to remember, it's like, it's not just like, hey, we're the same size. We should be even. No.
Right.
There's first of all, there's age. There's your current condition.
Yeah.
Right? Whether or not you like you can have a guy who comes in, maybe trains 3 days a week, but he's not doing anything else. So he's pretty well rested when he gets to you.
Yeah.
Right. Even though he would be normally considered your peer.
So you try to really put stuff in perspective.
Yeah.
And that helps you.
So I don't feel like, God, man, why the fuck did I let that guy, like maybe a brown belt or whatever, like get the better of me? It's like, dude, you just did fucking 5 days in a row, 3 days for 4 of those, right?
But you know what the trick is with that? The trick is like you can give yourself, sleep, obviously, but you can give yourself that out, right? You can. Mm-hmm. But where I make that switch is in competition. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm not feeling it, when the legs are jello, and I'm just, my heart rate is really high, I'm wheezing, and I just tell myself, you've done this 1,000 times. Yeah. You can do it 1 more time. Yeah. You can the 3 more minutes is nothing. You can totally do that. And that's like where you make that switch. I'm not saying like, man, I really didn't prepare well. I didn't eat well. I don't use it
as an excuse. I use it to like talk myself out of that depression hole of like, am I really bad at jiu-jitsu? Like,
yeah. But I totally get it. And you know what? Another thing that I do is if I go like when Amy and I went to Nashville for grand opening at what's his name, Milton's place. Yeah, cool time. I was injured, and I rolled every round, and I got beat up every round. And Amy's like, "You got to nurse that, that foot." And it was a foot and a knee at the time. It sucked. But I was like, no. I was like, what you don't understand is like, I'm nursing it just by not getting it involved in the round. I'm kind of protecting it. Yeah. But the next time I come here and roll, I'll probably be 100%, right? And they're going to remember the L.
Probably not.
They're probably going to be
probably not.
Yeah, probably not.
You're 50.
But this is my brain. This is
every bit of 50.
This is how my brain works. Like the
Yeah.
next time I come, I'll be I'll be better prepared, right? Not injured, and they're going to remember the other guy they rolled with that was injured, right? And
so I have that every night here because every night I'm like, I am like, my cardio is so bad. I can't put like, I'm being so lazy with my game to try to conserve energy, which doesn't work out because now I'm on defense the whole time, fighting for my life to not get past or win a scramble. And like, seems like everybody at the two, East Mesa and what would you call Paul? Just Paul's?
It's Aries, Arizona, but we always called it Navas.
Okay. Yeah. It's so easy to say East Mesa, and then I'm like, Aries, Arizona?
Well, he was the first one.
Let's call it West Mesa.
Yeah. West Mesa. Let's just call it Mesa. No. You have to differentiate. It's just Mesa.
East and West, baby.
So like between the two, like there's a lot of good scramblers, like transitional players.
Yeah.
And there's like, maybe this is because the competition's coming or something, but everyone like really fights in the transition, which I really appreciate because I come from a very wrestle heavy gym that's like really like very common. So I'm comfortable in there, but it's like my cardio is so bad that I'm finding myself not matching that because I'm scared that if I match it once,
you're going to be blown out.
Tojo's going to just walk all over me for the rest of the round.
And you can't have that.
I can't have that. My wife's there.
You'll have to leave your wife and just go on a walkabout or something.
And she's like this.
Yeah. She's actually, I caught the brown belt's wife filming us today.
Really?
I'm just saying, I saw you.
What's his name? Rob's girlfriend.
The shaggy hair guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His girl. Yeah.
Get to know Rob. He's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
He's hilarious.
I rolled with him for the first time
Very
today.
self-deprecating.
Oh my God.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
What did he say in Vegas? Remember when we were like, hey, are you going to come out or something? Or he hit us up. I can't remember the text, but it was fucking hilarious.
We lost him in Vegas.
We lost. Well, we thought he left us. We apparently left him because he went to take a piss and no one knew.
We turn around and we're like, where's Rob?
Here you go.
You can't find him. And I don't think any of us had his number.
No, it was on Fremont.
Yeah.
It was on Fremont too.
Yeah,
So,
it's
the
Devil's
chaos.
Playground.
Yeah.
Out there.
Fremont's fun.
I love Fremont, dude.
I went there for the first time during ADCC, and it was just like drugs, street performers, and people's assholes.
Yes,
hanging out.
Yeah, that's it.
Like, oh.
What more do you want?
Did you go see Hairband Nation?
No.
Or I'm sorry, Spandex Nation. Spandex.
I
Shout out.
wish. Is that dudes in spandex or?
It is. It's a like an 80s hair metal band. And they probably played since the 80s together.
Okay,
oh,
so
yeah, it's
they're
fantastic.
Living. Sounds like Nogi night at Paul's.
Wouldn't know.
Fantastic, yeah.
I
wouldn't know.
I don't care that in case they hear, I don't care that she was recording. I'm not one of those people. I don't care when people record. Like,
I don't either. But I know people who are like
get very persnickety about it.
And it's like if some people catch it, they're like, "Hey, do you know that they were filming you?"
Yeah.
And it's like I don't
care.
Well, I had a moment. I was a blue belt, and I was cross training at Nate Orchard. He's a 10th Planet guy, high level competitor, and my buddy that was a white belt dropped in there with me, and I explained to him, I was like, "You gotta understand, like this is an elite level competitor here, and he's like super good, so it's like cool that we get to train with this guy." And I had dropped in a couple times with Nate, so he was cool with me,
friendly,
friendly, and like we could have rounds, and he's not just destroying the shit out of me. Right. He's established his dominance on my DNA.
He already peed on you.
Yes, he has imprinted me. And so we were kind of like we were rolling. I pulled guard, and we are kind of just going. It was chill. I think I even like swept him once, right? And then
did you hear that?
Oh no! Oh, remember. He's already imprisoned me. So he's playing with me.
I beat him.
I got up and left. and so in this round, that was in like the first minute. So it was just a nice chill round.
Yeah.
And as I swept him, I saw he kind of looked over like this, and my buddy's sitting there with his phone.
Oh no.
Oh shit.
And this is the first time my buddy's come to that gym. So he just knows that I brought him.
Yeah.
So all the trust tree was burned in that moment. Because he was like, did you bring this fucking guy to record you rolling with me? This is what's going on in his head, at least I think. Yeah. And I look over too, and I see it. And I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That was maybe the worst beating I've ever had in my life.
He didn't know that was like a faux pas.
No. And I told my buddy after, and I was like, do not do that.
Ever.
Especially at like a visiting gym.
Yeah.
And
you always ask, anytime you visit, ask.
Yes.
Just don't.
I probably wouldn't even record anything unless it was like, yes, maybe ask. But he beat the shit out of me for the rest of that round. It was very ugly. It was bad.
Yeah.
So that was.
And he didn't say anything? He never said anything?
No. But I knew.
He said something.
Because I've had chill rolls with him where we kind of went back and forth. He always gets the best of me, but like where he would like just be right above me.
Right. Yeah.
What we do with blue belts, right?
Yeah.
And
I just smear him.
I just kill them. Demoralize.
Wait, there's less than 100?
You will drive home with the music off today. And this round was not like any of those.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like the first round where he like needed
established
to
dominance.
Yeah. It was like a horrible ass whooping. So
yeah.
He's proving a point there.
Samuel in the gym.
Yeah. Sammy.
I mounted him the other day, And I open up my lapel and I stuff his head into my armpit. I close it up. And he's like,
old guy jiu-jitsu.
Probably not a legal move. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. It's a cocoon. Just go with it.
Do you guys, because I saw how long this is, do you guys split these up?
No.
Damn.
Fuck it. They can listen or not.
Yeah, they can listen.
We don't give a fuck
That's
about
awesome.
the audience.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do too. I just like a long one. I just let it go.
Yeah.
We have split up a couple that have like a lot of medical information.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's because it can be kind of important. Like make sure you listen
That's
to this
good.
part.
I think our first 3-hour one we did because it wouldn't upload or something. We were having like
could be
technical
too.
issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Big a
We've split a couple. Like one of them was with a good friend of mine named Doug Moore, and Doug shared a story. He is a oversharer of how he
Not
broke,
like me.
of how he broke his penis and the process of getting his penis back.
Okay.
Yeah. He didn't break it off. So I mean, he had it intact,
Sure,
but it was
yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
And we had to split that one. And the penis story was in the second half. So I'm like, you guys got to listen to part 2.
Right.
But he's a super cool guy. He and I competed against each other a lot. And he's been a black belt for, 20 years.
Forever, yeah.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, he's been around a long time. Started at Gracie, Arizona, and still there today, which is really rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, actually, you know what's funny? At ADCC, the guys sitting in front of us were from Gracie Baja Chandler.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was so random.
Yeah.
It was like 6
Probably
of them.
Todd Dwiggins.
There's one guy who's like a Hispanic, heavy-set guy, had a GB tattoo on his hand right here.
No clue.
I guess he was a black belt.
White belt.
Right on his neck.
Yeah, right when
Why
you sign up.
He's
No,
in.
that's the requirement now.
Here's a gi, and that's the tattoo artist.
Go sit over there. You're gonna get tatted.
Get comfortable.
They told me to drop in because I said I was training with the Aries guys and up in Mesa.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, you should drop in." I was like, "Cool. Will you make me wear a gi, like a GB gi?" And they're like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "Okay, I'll see you later."
Yeah. Yeah.
Won't
that's
be dropping
interesting.
in.
Not
Yeah.
that that's like a huge thing, but it's just the principle.
Yeah.
I actually went to a GB once. I think I was a purple belt.
Okay.
And they, I just dropped into a random one, and they like made me wear their gi and a white belt.
Did you have to buy the gi?
No, I just,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
they had a loaner,
Oh, okay.
What belt were you?
purple.
And they made you wear a white belt?
Yeah.
That's just rude to everyone else.
Yeah.
I just beat the shit out of all their like.
I guess I'm a white belt today.
guys, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't got the ears or nothing, so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like I tied my belt all shitty.
Yeah. The volume would have been turned up to 11.
yeah. It was, and it was like not a like competitor school, so
Yeah.
like I was doing well with
Yeah.
like brown belts and
That's
stuff.
so. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah.
I went.
Yeah.
I went to a place in.
It all depends on the instructor, really,
course.
right? Like we started as a GB school, and
Yeah.
there's cool GB schools out there. Absolutely.
Oh, there's a lot of them.
Ocotillo?
Yeah. Ocotillo's awesome, dude. The guys in Ocotillo, and there's another one. It was Ocotillo and the other one.
Creek or Santan.
Might be Queen Creek.
Yeah.
So we did a fundraiser.
Is that the one that's by Dunkin' Donuts
Yeah.
and the Earnhardt
Yeah.
dealership? So I live like 5 minutes from them.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Tom, those guys are cool. They came out to an open mat that we had for a fundraiser, and they matched dollar for dollar what we raised.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
fucking cool. And it was a really good cause too, man. It was. You ever heard of Travis Mills? So Travis Mills is a medically retired Army staff sergeant, I believe, and he was one of, I want to say 4 or 5 quadruple amputees to survive the war in Afghanistan.
Damn.
Yeah, so he set his backpack down on a mine in an area that was quote unquote cleared, and that was it. That was the end of his career. But now he does the Travis Mills Foundation does a lot of really cool. TravisMillsFoundation.org, if you want to donate. They do a lot of really cool things for amputees, not just military, but anybody has an amputee. I think it's like traumatic kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, and they have this retreat in Maine, and they basically pay for everything through their foundation, so people can go out there and learn how to do shit outdoors.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? And it's all accessible. And the way I got involved with that is my friend Dan Crepata, who trains at Ocotillo, GB Ocotillo. His sister lost her leg, I believe, in Iraq.
Oh.
And so she's medically retired. She was an officer, some level, I can't remember. But she went out there. She doesn't have family, right? But she has her dog. And I think she said she checked in at like something ridiculous hour, like 2 a.m. They had her room, they had her bed, they had the dog bed, they had treats, they had dog bowl, they had everything ready for her. You know what I mean? And she's like, that's like, she felt like they have her back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
That's cool.
yeah, we do an open mat. We haven't done one in, it's got been a little bit over a year. We got to do one.
Yeah.
But we do an open mat. There's a golf tournament that we put on for those guys. And it's such a great opportunity to just, if you want to meet Travis, he usually comes out, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Or one of his guys will come out. They're all really cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if he doesn't come out, he'll do like a live thing.
Oh yeah.
During the lunch.
Sure. Have a message.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty sweet.
Yeah.
With the imposter thing, I was wondering how you guys like how do you help your students that have that?
It's gonna
like after a promotion or,
or
something.
I can I don't. I'll tell you what. I can only speak for myself because it's a very individual thing. And coming from a school like Paul Nava's, Paul was very much about competition. He was. I mean, he pushed us to compete. It wasn't an option sometimes. So what I did was like, you and I moved pretty quick. So the imposter syndrome was turned up, right? So especially at like, I felt really good at blue because it took me a while to get to blue. I think I was a white belt for like 22 months. So almost a full 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So then,
yeah, you really moved quick through the next ones.
Yeah. So then when I got my blue, I felt really confident. I won a lot of tournaments, did really well. When I got purple, that's when the imposter syndrome, the belt felt heavy. But purple, brown, and black, what I did was I signed up for tournaments right away. I did a tournament 3 days after I got my black belt. I signed up as a black belt for the tournament before I got my black belt because Paul said I was going to get it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I didn't want to have that in my brain. Like, I think the longer you wait for your whatever that thing is, the harder it is to sign up.
I could see that.
So if you're a competitor, my recommendation is compete.
All your lights just went off, I think, or your cameras.
They all went green.
They're all like, wrap it up.
Yeah, hang on. Let me stop and restart.
It's so individual though, because like
it is.
Different people have different like reasons for that imposter syndrome, right?
Yes.
Maybe they feel like they were promoted early, or maybe they just feel like everyone's beating them.
Yeah,
right.
And that's where I was like,
that's where the journey's different.
You got to put everything into perspective. Is like that's like the thing I was talking about earlier is like you just kind of have to like read their story to them. You know, because sometimes people are able to like, oh, I could see how Alex does this, and this. This is why he's this way. You do this, and this is why you're this way. But they don't do that for themselves.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to like read their story to them sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think it's also important as a teacher, as a black belt, to not try to judge people by what you did.
Right.
Because you sacrificed a lot of your time, right? You sacrificed a lot of your time to get to where you are because you had that goal.
Right.
And you can't expect everybody to be that person.
Right.
I think, and you say this a lot, like you look at all of your students as individuals, not as a group. Right. And that's really cool. And that's hard to do. And as an academy owner with like 300 plus personalities, that's damn near impossible. So I have to rely on my coaches to kind of tell me like, yeah, this guy's ready.
Yeah.
And do I go there and let me roll with him and see if he is? No.
Right.
I take the word of my instructors, and that's really, I think, what you got to do. And then you got people who they will never compete. They're not they're not the fighting sort, right? Yep. But they still show up and they still train and they still do their thing. You got to look at them individually.
It's a different barometer there for them. Yeah,
absolutely. Are they ever going to give you a great round? Possibly.
And I think those are the times that can be like the comparison being a thief of joy kind of thing.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
It's like we have a guy named Mo up there.
Jason?
Yeah. He's a killer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 200 pounds, so he's obviously bigger than me, but he's notoriously in the Northwest known as like one of the best guys up there. Him and like Breno Bittencourt,
Oh yeah.
He's an Aries guy.
Yep. Breno's a beast, dude.
Yeah. And now Harris Woods. But anyways, so he's like known as like being one of the top guys, and he's in our room. And it's like sometimes I would compare myself to him and be like, he beat the shit out of him. Like there's nothing I do to him ever. And it's like, and even with like Andrew, like my coach, it's like don't do anything positive against this guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, so how am I a black belt?
Right.
You know, or even through the ranks or something. So it's like comparing yourself to, now Mo's bigger. He's also younger.
Is he better looking?
His head is about twice as big as mine.
Okay.
Now he's going to kill me.
I think
for
the black
saying
belt's
that.
an easier answer.
Yeah.
For like black belts who feel the imposter syndrome, it's just like, what? It's literally
Welcome.
starting over.
Yeah.
When you get your black belt, because like, so for example, like my division Master World 6 Cushenio, you know, is in my bracket.
Yeah.
I'm his peer. I'm not his peer.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
But you know what?
I mean, a lot of ways, I guess I could say I truly am.
But
like,
if you asked him, he would say, yes, you are.
right.
That's just the kind of guy he is.
But like,
you know?
he's been a black belt as long as I've done jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why it's like, it's real easy to be like, well, you're a
Yeah.
black belt. Yeah, you just got your black belt. You just started over.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Can I give you some of the best news you'll hear all day?
Sure.
So you're in Cushenio's division.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the same division as my Hawaiian friend that opens doors with his ass.
I wonder.
That is great news.
What's his name?
Boots is what we call him.
What's
his
his
name's
real name?
Brian.
Brian?
Yeah, Buddha. I don't know how to say his last name.
Brian.
We just call him Boots, or people in Hawaii call him Boots.
And he's from Cascade?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes
Easy
there.
to find.
Yeah, he he didn't
Good
sign up
news.
this year though.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So he's Masters 2 black belt.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Featherweight.
Same. Yeah. And when Cushenio, he did a post on Tuesday saying all signed up, and Boots messaged me and goes, "Oh shit, my division's stacked."
Yeah.
So that's very stacked.
That's when I saw like, oh, they're in the same division.
Yeah.
So I had Q do a video to him.
No,
and say,
that's
like,
cool.
I signed up waiting for you, dude. Where you at? He shit his pants.
There's a lot of like jiu-jitsu legends. Not, I mean, and even like less so like jiu-jitsu specifically. Like Demetrius Johnson is in my division.
Yeah.
He's a. So the gym he's at Grapple Club.
Yeah, with Jan.
Jan used to be at our gym.
Yeah.
And Jan's freaking awesome. He moved from Brazil. I told you all that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. He like moved from Brazil, he didn't leave his family, but it came to like make up.
Yeah, but left his family sounds way cooler.
Yeah. He left his family
All by
there
himself.
to forage. And he was working in a rock yard at one of our students' businesses, just trying to make money and get a place that his family could then move up.
And he's a savage animal.
He just walked in and like we're like, who's this guy? Just some Brazilian.
Yeah.
And he's a freaking killer.
Wow. Yeah.
And then he Gracie Baja Puyallup was looking for a instructor, and he's not a GB guy, but he's like, dude, work in a rock yard,
money's good,
or just teach jiu-jitsu for a living.
Hey, there's air conditioning.
Yeah, no shit. And he was like, should I do it? And Andrew's so supportive. He's like, dude, go do it.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you came here for.
Yeah.
Didn't work out with G. Like he taught for a while, but that location, the owner there wasn't a great fit. It actually just closed, and he already had like a lease on an apartment. Ooh. So it was like, should I just open a school? Like, do it, dude.
Yeah.
Opened a school, and now he's got Demetrius Johnson with
sink
him.
or swim at that point, right?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
He's got, I think, 200 plus students.
Good for him.
Yeah, it's such a cool story. Now his family's here.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's
he's
so cool.
such a nice guy too.
You know,
Yeah,
and
McCain's a good fucking dude.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the imposter syndrome. I had a blue belt in the morning class when I taught at Navas.
Yeah.
Dan Eyring, remember him? Older guy. So he was in his late 50s. Worked as a you know what a lineman is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he worked as a lineman.
So he played football.
Yeah, he played. Yeah. Penn State. No, he worked as a real lineman. But he got a hip replacement. You know what I mean? And, you know, and he still, dude, to his credit, he still showed up.
Dang.
And he's my blue belt. And he was saying, he goes, I really don't feel like I deserve this. And I was like, deserve what? And he grabs his blue belt. At the time, I was a brown belt. I remember I had 2 stripes. And I said, Danny, let me just tell you something. I said, I'm a 2-stripe brown belt. I said, do you know who else is a 2-stripe brown belt? Jake Watson. Do you think I compare myself to Jake Watson?
Right,
Absolutely not. I said, you can't do that to yourself, dude. Like this is you earned this. This is all yours.
Yeah.
And that's how you got to look at it, man.
Yeah, different paths, and that helped a lot with like Chris getting his black belt. He got it the same day as me.
That's cool.
But he's like, you know, he is older and stuff like that. And then his wife got her black belt in December.
Very cool.
So a little bit after us, but it's like 2 different paths. You know, it's your ceiling is going to be different.
Yeah.
You know, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's, you know, you can have it from a application standpoint, competitive standpoint, knowledge standpoint.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's good that we don't do a lot of like time served black belts. Like you have to have some sort of knowledge and application.
You got to bring something to the table.
Yeah. And maybe if you're if you are in your 50s and you got hip replacements or something like that, yeah, you're not going to be boloing and all that kind of stuff. But are you able to convey technique, teach technique? You know, you kind of make up for it in other ways. And I think that, you know, validity can come from that.
Yeah, I look at my higher belts, which to me the higher belts are brown belts. Like you know, I think purple is like an intermediate kind of belt, but
it's the beginning of advanced.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I think my higher belts, I look for mentors. I look for people that are unselfish.
Yeah.
I look for people that seek the new guys out and try to teach them stuff.
Yeah.
Like when I hear, okay, this is very selfish. Okay, very selfish. This part. When I hear one of my brown belts teaching someone something the way I taught them, I'm fucking blown away, dude. I'm fucking blown away. What I mean by that is like, you know, I feel like I do my best to teach the best way that I know how, and when that gets trickled down, it's a great feeling. Yeah. And that's a real selfish thing. Yeah. But I want to see mentors. If I see somebody that comes into the academy, you know, trains and bolts, or shows up late, trains and bolts, I'm like, okay, you're not, you know, okay, that's cool. Like, you're welcome here, but you're not what I'm looking for.
And here's the other thing too. You can also be like, hey, you respect me and my opinion, right? My opinion is that you're this.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it kind of depends on who you're talking to. Some people you can talk to differently. Some people you have to like kind of like baby them a little bit. You know, again, it's all individual. Like some people you can be like, you're just being a baby right now. Yeah. Relax.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and that all comes with like how many deposits you've made in that bank, right? Like if you've given that person a lot, right, and then you take that withdrawal by fucking hammering them one day.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do have to remind people though that like, remember, you trust me.
Yeah.
With your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was a big thing that like my wife, you know, she's a brown belt and she would remind me. So she's in the community. That's why I say
I don't have a brown belt.
Yeah. That's why
Kelsey, hurry up.
I do.
Damn it, Kelsey.
Yeah.
It is because she understands, you know, what we go through and the mental side and all that kind of stuff. And she would remind me and be like, do you trust that Andrew's good at jiu-jitsu and Andrew knows like what he's doing? Obviously, yes. And she's like, well, he's the one that promoted you.
Yeah.
We're not one of those gyms, just like your guys's and Nava's, like that just hands belts out. He's a slow promoter typically.
Yeah.
I know you'd be like, well, you gotta like Howard, but he'll admit like there's a reason.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I won tournaments, you know, all that stuff. So there's proof in the pudding on that side, and then, you know, whatever. And how Andrew says, like, roll with him and tell me he's not this or that, or blue belt when I was, or whatever. But she just ensured, like, trust him.
Yeah.
Trust your instructor.
Yeah.
They should trust you when you stripe them or belt them or whatever. Is like, you know, you're not at a McDojo.
Yeah.
Right.
If you were, you'd probably know it.
Oh, you would definitely know.
You know,
Yeah.
Especially once you get into the colored belts.
Yeah.
Sure.
And you're probably not there, and you just can trust.
Yeah.
That gym is pushing you along on your path.
Yeah.
It's your blue belt, not Tojo's.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
He's a killer. That doesn't mean you're not a killer, but different. Just going to be different.
Absolutely.
I think the problem in I mean, all martial arts, and I would say probably, because martial arts actually like that's kind of like the grading system is the belt system, right?
Yeah.
And the problem with having a grading system on the belt system being the grading system is it's not quantitative.
Yeah.
It's not like in school where you're like, I got 10 of these 100 questions right, so I'm failing.
Yeah.
Right? You know, there's no way to like really like put a real number on like how good you are.
Right.
Right. And you also can't be like, well, he doesn't win tournaments, so he's not ready. Well, that doesn't necessarily equate either.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
We had a brown, well, he came to us as a purple belt. He actually came from Kevin Kim's gym. Aries guy, right?
Kenny
Kim.
Yeah.
And he came to us as a purple belt. He moved from the East Coast over.
The opposite side of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And he was a purple belt for a long time. And then he was a brown belt for a long time. Like when I started, he was a purple belt. And so he had a slow progression those last few. And he admits, he's like, I have never won. I think he said he maybe hadn't won a match.
Yeah.
Actually.
That's so cool that he still tried.
But he was, I remember until brown, he was competing more than like anybody in the gym.
Wow.
Sure.
Which I was like, what am I bitching about? Like, not that's not like a shitty thing to say. I'm saying like this dude has more balls and like maturity than my midget brain, you know? And so I remember it was one of those things where, you know, Andrew wasn't putting the competition record as like on the scale for him to get his black, but he was like, you know, I want to see a couple things out of you. Sometimes he would like play too conservatively, and like a tough blue belt would like get into side control, and then like he would just kind of like bottle up and not like have that like Andrew, for him, when he found that someone is becoming a brown belt is when there's tension in every moment. Not like spaz tension, but like when you're about to pass, you're trying to pass, it's a fight at every moment.
Yeah.
And once you've passed their guard, there's some sort of tension that you like have to, as the top person, you got to keep them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're going to get out.
Yeah.
That's like a good sign of application of a brown belt.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're really starting to get that. And so he pushed him and I remember he's like, this year, because he's already a brown belt with like multiple stripes. He's like, I want to see some of the dog. I want to see some of the tenacity. I'm not saying you have to turn into this grappler at all times.
Right.
Yeah.
But show me the trigger.
Yeah.
Show me that the button's there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
That
can
you can
press
do
it.
it. Yeah.
Yes. And for that year, he honestly, he changed and he did that. And he turned into a different grappler.
Wow.
Now he's not,
because you realize how much more successful you can be.
and that he can do it. I think it gave him confidence.
Yeah.
To do it. 'Cause he was like one of my main training partners. He's a sweetheart of a guy, and it almost gave him that confidence to like, no, I don't have to be this like, you know, baity, like, okay, I'm in a bad spot and I'll finesse my way out, or maybe I won't.
Yeah.
It was like, no, you're strong enough.
Yeah.
You because he's not a big guy, but he's not tiny. And it was like watching this dude change at brown belt.
Wow. That's cool.
Multiple stripe brown belts changing in front of us.
Yeah.
And now he's freaking tough black belt.
So this challenge turned into like an evolution for him.
Literally.
Yeah.
Cool.
At the end of the you know, of the colored belt
beginning,
journey.
yeah.
Which then starts over.
Yeah.
Right. And
Well,
that was
yeah, for sure. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, well, that's what I was saying. Just what you had said about it's like you're starting over when you get your black.
Yeah.
It literally was that, and like a lot of people in the gym got to see that, and it was so encouraging.
Yeah.
For especially us upper belts, because a lot of the lower belts they can't tell the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I have this. I bore Tojo with the story a lot.
Yawn.
But there's a certain feeling that you get walking into an academy, right? For the first time, you walk in, you're nervous, you're like, what the hell am I getting into?
Heck yeah.
And
That's
then
why I only did it once.
yeah, and then you walk in, and then the first time you step on the mat with a gi on, you're
Yeah.
like, what the hell am I getting into?
Yeah.
This is okay.
You feel a little goofy.
A little goofy,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like I'm gonna stand over here and no one's stopping me. And then you get that same feeling when they put a black belt on you and you're standing in that line. And you're
Now
like,
you're up front.
holy shit, no one's stopping me.
I have to do a speech.
They're letting me. They're letting me stand up here, right? And I think the next time I feel that, hopefully I get that feeling the first time I promote a black belt. But that's the feeling I chase.
Yeah.
I love that feeling.
Yeah.
That feeling of uncertainty. That feeling of like this belt feels heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to prove to myself.
Do you get that with competing?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I mean, like even recently, I felt really confident going in because my preparation's good. But I still ask myself, do I belong here?
Yeah.
Let's step right over there and find out.
Yeah.
And it goes through my head. Step right over there
So
and
what
find
happens
out.
when you lose? How do you handle that?
He's like, I was right.
I don't belong. Just hand your belt to Nava as you walk
yeah, it's like this. Just
thank you.
I think this is yours.
That lasted a little while.
So to answer that question, I gotta, and it's funny you mentioned Nava, because I think the most important coaching you can give somebody is after a loss. Mm-hmm. That 10 seconds after a loss is 100%. The most important coaching you can give somebody. And Nava has always said the right thing to me. He's always, and going into matches where he and we both know I'm a long shot at best, for that match. He makes me feel like I can win it.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
Every single time he's like, you can get him. He goes, and he's like, do this, do that. You can win it.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both, I don't know how you feel when you compete. Like, I don't look up anybody.
No.
Yeah. Right?
No, I don't.
Paul will look up somebody and he'll be like, all right, he's got a good guard game, but your passing can pass his guard.
Yep.
He'll look up people for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he'll tell, and he says the right thing.
Well, for me, he's fought a lot of the guys that I'm fighting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because you're both old. Yeah.
Yeah, we're both old. We are. So he can tell me like real live, and he'll be like, if he grabs your collar, blah, 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 you do this. And he goes, as soon as he pulls guard, I want you to go this way. He goes, don't go to your right, go to your left. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And he makes me feel like I can win that match. And then if and when I lose my matches, I don't know, man. He just has the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And we've done it. We've been together for so long. Like, he still finds a way to make me feel like, okay, I belong. I belong. Because it's been quarterfinals 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
At black belt. I haven't podium at Master Worlds at a black belt yet. And that's that little carrot that I keep chasing. Yep. You know what I mean?
I cried.
Yeah.
You got your black belt?
When I podiumed.
When you podium?
And I don't cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Did you cry when you got your black belt?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And
I don't cry, but here's a couple times where
and then I cried when I left Cascade, which that was funny because it was my last day there, and there was 4 first-dayers.
No way.
And so there's a huge lineup because a lot of people knew it was my last, Olivia and I's last day.
Yeah.
And Andrew does a little speech. He's bubbling, crying, just like it's brutal.
Yeah.
We're literally brothers, like me and him. So, and then it got to my turn. Boots is standing next to me. He's like, I hope you cry. He's pushing me. And I was like, I'm not going to cry. Because when he started crying, I held it pretty good.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. If I got through that.
Right.
Now we're crying.
I feel good. Yeah. And then I start talking. And oh shit, it just
you just fell apart.
Yeah, I'm an only child. My dad dumped me when I was like 10 or 11, whatever it was, and then I started talking about like this is my family.
Yeah,
and my lips are quivering. I can't even get it out.
Good for you for being vulnerable. Though.
Yeah. Well, that's what Brian or Boots said. He was just. I hear his stupid face next to me, like kind of
pussy.
Yeah.
I knew you were crying, bitch.
Yeah. And it was awesome. But that when I didn't know.
Can we have Boots on? I want to see him.
Let's do it.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's actually great on podcasts.
We're going to podcast in Vegas. Oh, he's not going to be there. God dang it. He didn't sign up. Yep.
Him and Andrea will come down and visit.
That'd be great.
She's got a good story too. She's from Brazil. She trained with GF team with like Max Jimenez back. She's got a picture with Max Jimenez when he's a skinny little blue belt.
Yeah, that's cool.
Ana Carolina Vieira. When she started jiu-jitsu, Andrea was already training, and they trained at the same gym. So
nice.
She got a cool story. She's like a 3rd degree.
Totally got to get her on the show.
Yeah, cool. She's cool. She actually won black belt adult pans.
Wow. Okay.
So she's like really good.
Legit.
Too. Yeah.
Love it.
Unlike him. He's garbage.
He sucks.
But he can open a door with his ass cheek.
He sucks out loud.
He can play inverted guard like nobody's business.
No kidding.
Yeah, you'll fall right in.
Oh God. Okay.
Literally. Like I didn't even know. And then when the Moscow guy comes up to me, he's like, you just after I lost, and I was just kind of sitting there, I was like, dang. But I was happy with myself. Mm-hmm. My whole goal was just to win a match at Master Worlds.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just got 3rd. I lost it.
Yeah.
I lost. He kissed me on my sweaty forehead.
You realize like what you just accomplished. You're like, this is
it was
actually
kind
a big
of
deal.
Validation.
Yeah.
Of like, I didn't compete at Purple because that was through COVID.
Yeah.
And like, so it was like kind of validation of like, maybe I am okay at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like, I put all this time and effort in, and
That is definitely validation. Man.
Yeah.
It's hard to do, man.
Yeah.
It's so many
Tough
things have to
tournament.
go right just to get there.
Yeah.
You know?
A lot of matches.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So
yeah. And, you know, and like you were saying, your last day, obviously you're going to cry. If
Yeah.
I was moving away, I'd lose it, you know? But I mean, more than anybody, you understand this, I think, because, you know, like they become it's family.
Yeah.
It's family. And like, there's very few people on that mat that I grew up with, you know, grew up in jiu-jitsu with, that I don't tell them that I love them.
Yeah.
I love those guys, and I'm not afraid to tell them.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people, even though like a lot of them will have the similar feeling for like you, right? So they can kind of identify.
Yeah.
But I think from an instructor perspective and like being a core member, because like Andrew and I were like the main instructors, and then there was some other people that would help teach as well.
Yeah.
It's like I don't think people realize how like we feel for them, like that room.
Yeah,
it's like sacred.
Yeah,
and like I tried conveying it, like how like and that can be hard for people to understand. Like you really think of us like family. It's like I can't convey how special these people are. Like especially the ones that you know are purple and brown and like you've been with for 5+ years or something like that. It's like that. The relationship and that they have in my mind is like it's like saves me. Yeah, you know, it's like the hardest thing to do. Like we could have moved down here years ago, like we were in that position to do that, but we didn't because of the gym. Yeah, I wanted to get my black belt from Andrew, and then 2, we wanted to like we were not ready to leave that community. Yeah, and it's. I'm very thankful that I found like you guys because the vibe is very similar to Cascade from a person standpoint, and that's like I drive 45 minutes. Wow. To go to both. Yeah. You know, it took I think 50 minutes to get here. Wow. And it's like there's a that speaks volumes to what you guys have. Yeah. And it's I hope people at your guys' gyms and at Cascade realize like what they mean to the instructors and to other people within the gym, because it is legit. It can like save you from like tough times and all that kind of stuff to where if you ever did have to leave, it's like it would be extremely brutal, I'm sure.
Yeah. It would be awful. Yeah.
I don't think there's a better place to end this.
Huh?
I don't think there's a better place to end this.
No, that's a great spot. We're about 3 hours and 40 minutes in.
This is the longest one?
This is the longest podcast.
My wife's going to think I'm drinking again.
She's like, pop the trunk.
Yeah, I'm going to send her a polo.
Yeah, there you go.
Be like, I am here.
Yeah. We're just finishing.
All right, guys. Hey, if you love the podcast or if you hate the podcast, please like and subscribe. Please follow us on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Definitely subscribe on YouTube. And leave comments. We will have another Shitting on the Comments show very shortly. Let's do 110? 110 shitting on the comments.
Fuck it.
So be brutal. Tell us you hate us. Tell us you love us.
Idiot of the week.
Idiot of the week. We're definitely we got one.
Can't be me.
We won't tell them.
Well, it depends if you comment.
That's right. You got to comment. All right, guys. Thank you. Hey, thank you so much for being on the show, Bill. I really appreciate it, man. It's hopefully great things are coming. We get to compete together and do all that shit, man. It's you're a cool dude
in the community now.
Yeah, great addition to the team, man. I'm really happy to have you.
Fun being here, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
Are we gonna hug after this?
No, we're not gonna hug. We're gonna cry. We're not gonna hug. All right, guys. See ya.
Peace out.
This episode of the BJJ Foxcast is brought to you by BioPro. BioPro is an all-natural alternative to prescription human growth hormone, which aids in recovery, anti-aging, metabolism, libido, immunity, skin health, cognition, sleep, and stress. Just 1 vial per day provides a substantial boost to all of these growth factors. Okay, so that's what they want me to say. Here's what I know as an aging grappler. I've been using BioPro Plus and the nighttime variant, BioPro Plus Cortisleep, for several months, and it feels like I've grown a third lung. My gas tank is noticeably bigger, my recovery is faster, and I'm back on the mats much quicker, not just between training sessions, but between rounds. Now you can get $30 off your first order of BioPro when you use the code FOXCAST at www.bioproteintech.com. That's code FOXCAST for $30 off your first order at www.bioproteintech.com. Thank you, BioPro.